For 50 years, from around the globe, they came to Las Vegas to compete in the World Series of Poker. But in 2020, the World Series had to go to them, and that it did. Into China it went, into Portugal and Argentina, Canada, Lithuania, and of course, the United States. And while the setting had changed, the goal had not. To identify that one person who could summon all their courage, stamina, and skills to rise above the rest and become a world champion. The more things change, the more they stay the same, sort of. The World Series of Poker main event has found a way to adapt, and we will still crown a new world champ. Lon McCarron here with poker pro Jamie Kerstetter. Jeff Platt will join us on the sideline. Kara Scott, alas, stuck in Italy. Joseph A. Bear is our chip leader.
With more than double the chips of his closest competitor, he's in a great position to pressure middling stacks and pull further ahead of the pack.
Harrison Dobin, one of the short stacks.
Dobin is in the unenviable position of needing a decent hand to shove with, and fast.
Also suffering chip envy is the generous Gershon Distenfeld.
An avid Jets fan, he's used to giving a lot without ever getting anything in return. Not surprised he's a philanthropist.
Final table stacks brought to you by Caesars Rewards. You see ninth place already awarded. More on that in a bit. A-Bear in command, but the stacks are still pretty deep. Jeff caught up with Louisiana's chip leading Joseph A-Bear a moment ago.
Well, Joseph, you enter this final table as a pretty sizable chip leader. How would you describe what your emotions are like going into this final table?
My emotions are really all over the place right now. I'm kind of doing this for my mom. She passed away in July this year. So I'm really just trying to zone in and be at this final table and hopefully I can pull out the win for her.
Hashtag for Linda, right?
Hashtag for Linda.
We love it. How would you sum up the competition that awaits you today?
Well, first off, I just want to congratulate everybody for making it this far and just deep. The competition's going to be rough. It's going to be a battle. So I'm just ready for and prepared to take it all the way.
Thanks for the time. We'll send you out there. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
The 2020 main event came together in an unusual way. Players competed online, both domestically and internationally. Two separate final tables to be played, one here in Vegas, the other in the Czech Republic. The survivors of each go heads up for the main event bracelet and an added $1 million in prize money.
With the heads-up $1 million prize, that $500K in added equity can play into their decision-making when play gets shorthanded.
So we do have 8 players. The blind's at $75,150. We're using the big blind ante, so it's an expensive round for the big blind. Distenfeld with A7. The players did get quarantined. They did get tested multiple times, so masks are optional.
Yeah, interesting how some chose to wear masks and some did not. Do you think that's to hide some tells?
Finally, a legit way for poker players to cover up. In the cutoff, Sean Stroke, he missed the hoodie memo.
But at least he's camouflaged half of his head.
Ace-deuce offsuit. Second in chips, but still $8 million behind A-Bear. He does raise it up to $350. Dobin on the button folds over to Ron Jenkins. 63-year-old gets out of the way. Ryan Haggerty, one of our 3 Jersey boys here.
And with King-Jack off in the big blind, you're going to want to defend versus the cutoff raise.
Good friends with Michael Cannon in seat 9. He does call for $200,000 more. He was pretty committed in the big blind with that big blind ante. Jack 4-6. Haggerty outflops Stroke, pairing his jack, and he does check.
You expect a Stroke to continue here quite a bit, just trying to c-bet and take this one down.
That he does. Poker code $275,000 back to Haggerty with top pair.
Pretty easy decision for Haggerty here. He has a very good hand, and the button will open a wide variety of hands.
Hags, as he is known, very deliberate in every motion he makes. Turn card 5 of hearts. Stroke now with a straight draw. Another check with the best hand from Haggerty.
And he's giving Stroke a little more rope, and let's see if Stroke will take it.
No reason not to. He does dig himself $350K deeper. Maybe his ace high is good, he's thinking. Likes his draw.
Picking a very small sizing, though, it doesn't really entice Haggerty to make any tight folds here.
That's just another call from Haggerty. River card now. Haggerty is best here with top pair with all the cards on board. Another check.
I like Haggerty's check. He's got a great bluff catching candidate here, and with so many missed draws on the board.
Oh, he is quite determined. 575K from stroke.
Just too small of a size to really get the job done if he's looking at this as a bluff. And I would like to check back the ace high. You do beat a lot of missed draws.
And a call. And Haggerty will win a nice pot in a pretty leisurely fashion, adding 1.6 million to his stack. He barely had to work for it, Jamie.
Yeah, that one just came to him.
Stroke takes the hit. Only 8 players sat down tonight at this final table because of a unique circumstance involving the most accomplished player to make this final table here in Las Vegas.
A World Series of Poker main event in 2020 will, of course, come with some new rules. Now, this tournament paused online when it reached its final table of 9, and we start today 8-handed as Upeshka da Silva was eliminated in 9th place. He was disqualified from the tournament after a positive COVID test. A brutal blow for da Silva, to be sure. Tournament rules, though, were made available to everyone who signed up prior to the start of play online. We'll share with you one of those rules word for word. It says, quote, players must undergo a COVID-19 screening prior to participating in the live event. Any player who tests positive for COVID-19 will be excluded from the live event and awarded the minimum 9th place prize money, end quote. Now, da Silva, along with the other players, tested positive for COVID here at the Rio. His 9th place finish has earned him $98,813.
As if there wasn't already enough variance in tournament poker, Upeshka traveled all the way to Las Vegas in hopes of playing for $1.5 million and left with only antibodies.
And as Jeff mentioned, almost 100 grand. But yeah, too bad not to see Pesh here at this table. So Dobin all in with pocket queens. Round to Haggerty, who gives up his haggard hand. 10s now for Garchon.
Yeah, and with such a short stack shoving before him, I don't see him ever getting away from this. But if he does get it all in, his chosen charity today is Dobin.
44-year-old from Bergenfield, a finance whiz on TV a lot. He has twice the stack as Dobin. And he says all in. Tony Wan, PhD student in Wisconsin, folds. Abear gives way, and so here we have an all-in and a call. Dobin at risk and ahead.
I'm appreciating Dobin's non-committal hat where he just says sports. He's a fan of activity.
There you go. And here is the flop, low ball flop. Dobin's double up still, looking good. Dissenfeld in danger of losing almost half his stack. Turn card now. That gives Dissenfeld an open-ender.
It's not like online where it just comes out.
And more for Dobin to sweat on the river.
Mm-hmm. The sweat.
6-10.
Dissenfeld counting his outs, a jack, a 10, a 6. All of it will do the trick.
The river card. No harm done to Dobin at the river. He doubles up to almost 3.4 million. Dissenfeld the short stack, but no matter the outcome of that hand, his attitude will remain the same.
I've been very fortunate in life. My wife and I have been blessed with a lot of resources, and we do spend, we don't just give away money, we also spend a lot of our time involved in charities. So it's natural for us. I'm going to make a decent amount of money here, hopefully a lot of money, and I'm going to give it to charities that I'm already involved in and that I know do very, very good work. And especially in times like this where the pandemic is impacting so many people, there are a lot of people that could use the help. So my wife and I are very, very excited to be able to utilize some more resources now to do good in the world and help people.
I love what guys like Dissenfeld do for our poker community. It's great to spotlight something so positive in what's been a dark year for so many people.
Jenkins, Southern California real estate developer with 14 World Series cashes, picks up queens and raises to 375. Dobin, coming off his double up, folds his suited jack. And now the short stack, Garshon Distenfeld, king jack suited.
If you're Distenfeld, you should eye Jenkins' stack and realize that he's opening off a very short stack that could have just shoved in. So you've got to give him a little bit of a stronger range.
All or nothing, and it's all. Distenfeld re-raises all in. Chip leader A-Bear gets out of the way. Michael Cannon in the big blind. Ace queen off.
This is a close decision, but I think when you see Jenkins opening on a short stack and Distenfeld shoving with very little fold equity, the ace queen should hit the muck.
Yeah, it did indeed. And of course, Jenkins with the queens makes the call. Distenfeld now trying to overcome queens again, this time for his tournament life.
That was a close decision.
Yeah, he's regretting this one, but he probably figured he's the shortest stack, he has the least to lose, and it's his chance to get back in the game.
Garshon on the hook. No clubs, no king means trouble for Distenfeld. Pretty calm, though. Man's got a good life. 10 of hearts on the turn. Distenfeld, a glimmer of hope with a gut shot.
I got 2 of them.
The needle from Jenkins saying, I got 2 of your outs, buddy.
5 outs.
King or a queen is what Garshon needs, and it's the 5 of hearts, and his main event is done. 8th place, 126K, almost headed for his charities.
You would win and I'd come in second.
Oh, stop.
Nice to meet you. It really
Great
was.
playing, everyone.
And this tops his previous best World Series score by about 122,000. Not the finish he wanted,
luck, man.
but a great result nonetheless.
Good luck. Good luck with it.
Watching the World Series of Poker main event is not quite what it used to be. No fans in attendance, family members and close friends in a room down the hall masked, watching on delay. Jeff Platt is now with our 8th place finisher.
Well, Garshon, how would you sum up this World Series of Poker main event journey?
Well, it was a lot of fun. It didn't last as long as I thought it would, but my strategy was to play aggressive. I got a couple of spots where I think I got it in pretty good. The last one was tough. I wasn't sure if I made the right play there, but I was down to about 10 bigs, and I thought it was the right play. I try and judge my decisions, not necessarily the outcomes. So I'll review it with my coach, see if I made the right decisions or not. I certainly would have liked a little better showing as I was playing for charity, but I had a lot of fun. This is just a great experience I'll treasure forever.
Thanks for taking the time and representing our game so well. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm guessing his coach won't love that king-jack shove, but the hand that put him in that short stack position to begin with was completely unavoidable.
Action on the button, Sean Stroke, who finally got the hoodie memo. He saw Michael Cannon in the cutoff raise it up to 300,000 with King 10.
Nice.
And Stroke now with the ace jack, 3 bets it to 850.
Okay, he chooses a somewhat small 3-bet size. Let's see what Cannon's going to do.
Saw the small blind get out of the way. I assume Jenkins, the style of play that he brings to the table, will get rid of his big blind. He does indeed. So now back to Cannon. One of 4 players with about 30 big blinds or so before the hand started.
All in.
And Cannon says all in. I like it.
Wow. Just putting max pressure on Stroke here, who expected to have the best hand with ace-jack here a lot.
Stroke barely has Cannon covered. He learned poker in a Queen's Pizza Parlor after hours when he was a teenager, now here fighting for a World Series bracelet.
Just totally gutsy play from Cannon here with just king high. Just dying for those cards of Stroke to hit the muck.
Wow, and there is the fold. Michael Cannon finds a way to win the pot with the boldest of moves.
Can't wait to see that one on TV.
Well done, Michael Cannon, 29-year-old, says he's never had a real job. He's a pro at life, but he says he's a pro liver.
Does that just mean he's into foie gras?
I guess so. Whatever he's doing, it worked right there. Pocket kings for Tony Juan, 25-year-old, living in Madison, in 4th place right now. He's a PhD student in probability. He probably has the best of it right now, he's thinking, and there is a raise to 300,000. Bear, the big stack with ace queen off.
Yeah, he's got a decision to make here. Does he want to keep the pot small and just flat here, or does he want to 3-bet and take control of the hand with his big stack?
He grabs 3 lavenders. That's a call. So yes, those lavenders worth 100K each. And also on the table, the red mini frisbees, the oversized chip worth $500,000. And there's some greens out there worth 25K each. Over to Dobin on the button. A weak ace. Gives way to Jenkins in the small blind. King, queen of hearts. Safe to say he's the only grandfather on the table. He does call.
Do you have other chips behind that stack?
Hags in the big blind, 10-9, getting quite the price, Jamie.
Yeah, I'd be enticed to call here for sure and just take a flop four-handed with the hand that can flop pretty well.
And he does make the call. So 4 players. Juan probably doesn't like that. Over 1.3 million in the middle. And Bear jumps to the front of the line, hitting his ace. Jenkins and Haggerty check. Jenkins with a Broadway draw. Haggerty with his not-so-big blind special cards. And now Juan has to find out if his kings are still good here. That's 600,000.
Juan betting into 3 other players with black kings here. No backdoor diamonds or anything. A bit too ambitious, to say the least.
Now to Bear with the best hand. He hit the ace. And he's been pretty steady as it goes, not really willing to push the action hard. He does just call here. Jenkins folds his draw.
Yeah, still was a call anyway.
And the deliberative Haggerty finally folds as well. So heads up, the kings against the 2 aces of Bear after that flop. 4 of diamonds on the turn. That kills the king of diamonds as an out for Juan.
And Juan found out all he needs on the flop to know he should just be checking here.
He does just that. Bear now.
Yeah, Bear's hand has turned into a great bluff catcher and also doesn't need nearly as much protection as he holds the queen of diamonds.
Okay.
And Joseph with that cheeky check. River card. Another ace for Joseph. So food for thought for Juan here with that second ace on the board.
It's an amazing card for Bear as he's so much more likely to get value out of Juan's kings now.
Juan does check here. And Bear is going to try to squeeze a little more out of this pot if he can. Yeah, 800,000 of value, almost a third of the pot. Can he resist?
Just a tiny value bet. Juan's got to be thinking, man, this really is dying to get called, don't you think?
There is the call, and Juan sees the bad news. Bear's turn check, and the paired board conspire to siphon chips from Tony Juan, who is now the short stack. A lot of early success for the chip leader in the red hat, Joseph Bear, representing the circuit grinders and Louisiana quite well. Just before the break, kings cracked by Louisiana native Joseph Bear. Joseph came into this final table motivated by a lot more than chips and cash.
It has been an emotional journey this year. My mom passed away in July, hit me really hard, and I took actually a 3-month break from poker. I was heading home, I texted her and I said, I wish one day I could win a bracelet. I don't know how many more chances I'm gonna get. And she texted me back and she said, you know, I keep hoping and praying what will be, will be. And that was our last text. She passed away 3 days later. It would mean the world to me to win this for my mom. It's something I've always dreamed of, and she's dreamed of for me as well. And for me to win this for her would just catapult me to total emotion. So I'm lost for words, actually.
Of course, a big shock to Joseph and the family, something that Lonnie Huey, formerly Harwood, knows all too well. She tweeted support for Bear. Of course, Lonnie's mom passed in 2014. She dedicates all her wins now to her mom. Back to action here with pocket fives. Joseph with a min raise to 300,000. Folded to Haggerty in the big blind with a weak ace. And he does come along.
A pretty standard defend from the big blind here to just a min raise with your weak ace.
Hey Bear trying to find another victim. Middle pair for Haggerty, but it's still second best. Hags checks over to the pocket fives holding red-hatted chip leader. Just one overcard in that flop to his pocket pair. But he'll check it back.
Oh, an unconventional check back here as fives wants to bet to protect their hand. And also with 2 undercards to the board, they can actually get some value here.
Trey on the turn gives both players a draw. A-Bear open-ended. Haggerty checks.
A lead there would actually not have been too bad either, as you expect to have the best hand, and your 4 would look to get some protection from some bad river cards.
Haggerty starting the hand with 42 big blinds. A-Bear with 96 big blinds. And now comes the money, 275,000.
The delayed continue bet is pretty interesting here, and it's almost like he's targeting Haggerty's exact hand.
Exactly. And there is the call. So whatever he's doing is working. River card now. Pocket fives are good at this moment. 7 of clubs misses both. Check, check.
And wow, Haggerty turns it over as if he's got the nuts, just expecting that any better hand would have value bet there.
So the pocket fives find their way unscathed to the finish line, even though Haggerty thought he had the best of it there. And the chip leader gets a little healthier, adding 800,000 to his already bulging chip stack.
Like a 5 should have came on that river for TV.
That'd be good for TV, yeah.
For your TV.
Yeah.
So A-Bear cruising through this field nicely so far. From Metairie, Louisiana, spends his time playing poker, working at the Galley's Seafood Restaurant, and hanging out with his fiancée and son.
And he's been playing pretty snug so far, just maintaining that chip lead and not taking too many big risks.
Snug, but still active, involved in a lot of hands. So whatever he's doing, he came in with a huge chip lead, and he still has it here. A-Bear with another small pocket pair. Blinds at 75 and 150,000. And there's another min raise. Cannon folds a tray. Now Sean Stroke. Ace-10 suited. And a quick 3-bet to 650.
Wow, and just a tiny 3-bet. He clicks it back.
Dobin with ace-10 as well. But he folds his hand. Jenkins out of the way, leaves king-queen in the muck. Haggerty committed only with the small blind. King-6 suited, goes away. Juan in the big blind. Only one king this time. So back to A-Bear.
So that tiny 3-bet would not normally accomplish so much, but it cleared out some pretty decent hands and got him heads up with A-Bear.
Joseph's pattern has been to stick around, at least see a flop. And he is going to make the call. So heads up, Trey's with 101 big blinds, ace-10 suited with 23 big blinds. No ace, no 10, no clubs. A-Bear still ahead. He checks the paired board. The cooling tower mechanic, not a poker pro, bets 400,000.
Just such a small bet size again, just 25% pot. You're going to entice a lot of hands to stick around, and including most likely the 3s of A-Bear here.
A lot of hands that will beat you to stick around.
Yep.
Call from A-Bear. 2.5 million in the middle. Turn card, 5 of clubs, no help to stroke. But a dicey hand for the pocket threes. There's another check from Joseph.
And this pot has now swollen to the size of stroke stack, 2.5 million apiece.
Will he stay aggressive against the chip leader? Yes, 650.
And man, I don't think I've ever seen a 23 big blind stack go for a 3-bet pre-flop, a flop bluff, and a turn bluff. If you're a bear, you're thinking this is value because I just don't see people bluff like this.
And a bear can't stand the heat. Wow, stroke gets it done.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. Not sure I can really recommend it, but it gets the job done here.
Well, A-Bear's rising stack takes a small detour. Still a hefty lead. Back to the Rio in just a moment. Back inside the Rio, part-time winner Joseph A-Bear with more than a 2.5-to-1 lead on the field. The winner of this final table will play the winner of the international final table. For New Jersey's Ryan Haggerty, the magnitude of this moment is not lost.
With poker, it's like sometimes it can be hard. You can neglect your health and you're sitting around a lot. Leading up to the final table, I prepared myself differently than I would typical days when I would play online poker or go to other live tournaments. From a health standpoint, just putting in some exercise and really kind of getting myself, and I plan on carrying that through after, but it's good to leading up to kind of have that going for you. I'm a little nervous because it's just such a big spotlight, but I think after a couple hands go by, I'll feel comfortable. It's just poker for me, and I really don't want to put too much weight on the result and what's going to happen. I just want to play my best game, and at the end of the day, it's just the final table, and I've been here before.
It's definitely an advantage to be a primarily online poker player, as you put in so many reps that at the end of the day you realize it's just poker when you sit at the table.
Folded to Ryan on the button. He said that busting out of a tournament is a normal thing. He's not afraid of it. He's going to raise it up to 400,000. A new min raise here with the blinds up to 100, 200,000. Jack 10 suited, gets Juan out of the way. Now A-Bear in the big blind.
With A-Bear stack and just facing a min raise, he's going to be defending almost any two here.
Even with 8-5.
Hey, it can make a lot of straights.
Yeah, he will indeed defend. Who knows what could happen? Haggerty with the best of it right now. A-Bear running good. He does take the lead with a pair of eights.
Like I said, it can make second pair.
He checks. Haggerty, swing and a miss on that flop. Not much going on the board, so he might want to continue here. And he's reaching. 325.
You expect the button to be continuation betting a very wide range of hands, so second pair is just too strong to let go at this juncture.
A-Bear's best cash came in a second place circuit event, 2013 New Orleans stop, almost 141,000, and he does call here with the pair of eights. Turn card 7 of diamonds. A-Bear still ahead. Haggerty adds a gut shot to his hopes. Another check to Haggerty.
Picking up that gutter ball is just enough to entice Haggerty to continue in this hand with another bet.
Haggerty with a big bet, just over 1 million chips.
It's putting A-Bear in quite a rough spot here, and we've seen A-Bear take the low variance route in very many hands so far, just trying to preserve his chip lead.
And Joseph does indeed give up. Haggerty with the win, jack high and some serious fortitude, and he needed it.
Man, getting the chip leader to fold second pair there, he's just printing money with that bet.
And a World Series of Poker main event replay with the big bet by Haggerty that earned him that pot. Haggerty, 8-4 suited as we continue from the Rio, the World Series of Poker main event, the Las Vegas final table. The winner of this final table will earn a spot heads up against the winner of the international final table for an extra $1 million, the bracelet, and the title of world champ. A-Bear here with King Jack offsuit in the small blind. So blind on blind, A-Bear reaching, of course. And a little more than a min raise this time, Jamie.
Yeah, when it folds to the small blind, you'll usually see the small blind go about 3 to 3.5x. They only have one player to get through, and you get to steal the blinds and antes by putting just a little more cheese on your bet.
New York's Michael Cannon with a smaller king in the big blind. Needs 350 to call, and he does just that.
And a bear going slightly under 3x entices Cannon to call with a weaker king here.
A bear with middle pair. Both are open-ended. Cannon and a deep hole. And take note, the percentages are only based on winning a hand outright, not factoring in a chop pot. It is check to Cannon.
Flopping second pair, and then with the potential of the open-ender, I really like this check.
Cannon checks back. 7 of clubs on the turn. So Cannon's only hope to get chips back is to chop the pot or bluff a bear off his hand.
This is the inflection point in the hand where if I'm Cannon, I would like to start bluffing here, start telling a story, and give myself my best chance of getting through.
Cannon does check back though. 8 of diamonds. The board gets straighter right down to the river. Both missed their draws. A bear.
Sitting with just a bluff catcher now with his second pair.
Well, he checks again.
Cannon now knows he has the worst of it, most likely. You're not trying to show down king high here.
Now reaching for chips, Jamie. And he does wake up. 800,000, more than half the pot is the bluff.
Man, and I don't know what he's representing here, because you would think that a 9 would probably have found a turn bet and semi-bluffed. So now he's kind of in no man's land, and a bear is getting a pretty good price to call as well with his second pair.
Joseph A. Bear not happy about this turn and river of events.
And he's sizing up his opponent, but all you could really see is 1 inch of his forehead.
A bear disgustedly throws his hand in 3 times now. The chip leader has given up the best of it.
And Cannon's investment in Botox has really paid off. That 1 inch of forehead gave off 0 tells.
Back to the Rio in a moment.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Welcome back to final table action from the domestic portion of the World Series of Poker main event. The format this year a little different. End result, though, is the same. A World Championship bracelet and a huge bump to someone's bank account. Action on New Yorker Sean Stroke under the gun, 3rd in chips. Queen 8 of clubs. Reaching for chips. Looks like he wants to plant a flag here. And there is a raise to 450,000.
And Stroke likes to play a lot of hands compared to the rest of the table.
Pocket kings for Jenkins, not good news for Sean. And there is the 3-bet to $1.9 million. Not all in, but nearly for Jenkins.
Yeah, Jenkins moves most in.
Hags is like, huh? 80% of your stack? Not all of it, Ron? Juan and Haggerty do fold. A bear and the small blind gives way. Pocket 4s for Cannon in the big.
And pocket 4 is not good enough facing all this action. But here's where we see the problem with Stroke opening a little too light with shove stacks behind. He's committed a decent amount of chips, and he does not want to put more in at this point.
If you believe that, I got a bridge in New York to sell you.
Jenkins looking pretty comfortable here, and Stroke picks up on that as well. Plus, it's Queen 8.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
What was that New York comment? I didn't even hear you.
I said, and if you believe that, I got a bridge in New York to sell you. What's that bridge like? Don't they have a Brooklyn Bridge in New York? Isn't that where the...
Verrazano. Yeah, a lot of bridges.
We've seen the players who made the live final table here at the Rio, who all survived a tough online field to make this elite group. Among some of the big names that just missed, Maria Ho, Joe Chung, and 2013 main event champ Ryan Reese. Jamie, I kind of like the hybrid format here. How about you?
I like it. I mean, I'm a primarily online player, so I do like to log the most hands I can in my pajamas. But I also like that it's a final table live, where you win that bracelet yourself. There's no doubt about who is playing for the win.
Maybe not for the main event, but yeah, have an event where you start online, come on into the Rio and play it out. Dobin with ace-jack made the raise to 425, under the gun.
Yeah, so
Haggerty goes through the same motions every time he's dealt a hand. I respect that.
The new stadium's beautiful. The museum in there. And
after his pocket kings went down, Tony Wan hasn't had much to work with. A-bear on the button with a weak king. Folded to cannon. Things seem to be tightening up a little bit. Seen some bluffs here and there. A lot on the line. Stroke now in the big blind. Jack-9 offsuit.
With these small pre-flop raises, more hands in the big blind are getting defended, including this one.
Sean, known as Strokey, Shades, Shady Steam. He's in trouble if sunglasses are ever banned from this game. Reaching for chips. He'll come along for 225 more. There's the flop, top pair, top kicker for Dobin. Stroke also a top pair, but he's a 5.5 to 1 dog. He checks it over to Dobin.
$350.
And Dobin removing his mask when he makes a bet and speaks. It's kind of like wearing sunglasses a whole final table and taking them off when you're in a hand, don't you think?
Indeed. Dobin doesn't know it, but he's perfectly set up to have Stroke follow his lead. And indeed, Sean does just that. Turn card, deuce of spades. I'm not sure what Stroke is looking for. Dobin pretty much covered up. And his family, they call Dobin whole milk. His brother, who's a little less hefty, is known as half and half.
And let's see how many chips Dobin can skim off Stroke stack here.
Did you just say skim? Yes. 700,000 is the bet from Dobin. Sean's got to like the jack, and he does make the call again. River card. Oh, and now ace is up for Dobin. Maybe also ending Stroke's cooperation in this dance.
Yeah, I would like a smaller bet on this river here, maybe 1/3 pot, just knowing that Stroke is going to be afraid of that ace.
On Dobin's mask, a picture of his late best friend Marty, who taught him you have to make the most out of every hand you're dealt.
All in.
Yeah, he's trying to get the most out of this bet.
I think that's a bit ambitious. You have to think of the type of hands that Stroke is holding here, and it's going to be a lot of one pair type of hands, like exactly what he has, a jack with not much of a kicker.
Can Stroke give up his jack? That ace on the end may have hurt Dobin's chances.
Listen.
And he does fold. A nice win regardless for Dobin.
Yeah, all in may have been a little too greedy and it allowed Stroke to get off the hook.
Top pair for both of those players, leading Dobin to rake chips. Still 7-handed here at the main event as the 6 underlings jostle to find a way to eventually challenge chip leader Joseph A. Barry. Nervous times for friends and family. Different atmosphere here at the Rio, but the pressure to perform remains the same. I imagine, Jamie, once you settle in and focus as a player, the lack of crowd really doesn't matter?
Yeah, I would think once you settle in, it's just poker, unless you're one of those players that feed off their support and their crowd.
Haggerty with ace queen under the gun, taking a page from the chip leader's book. Min raised to 400,000. Over to Joseph A. Bear. King queen offsuit. A. Bear beginning the hand with 54 big blinds. Nearest competitor Michael Cannon with 37 big blinds on his left. There's a call from A. Bear. Cannon up from 3 million chips. He now looks down at 7.5 million before he folds. Stroke on the button gives way.
You could feel Stroke's pain as he's folding suited connectors for what I assume is the first time in his life.
All right. So Haggerty and A. Bear going heads up. 8-10 king. A. Bear catches top pair. Broadway draw for Haggerty, but he's almost a 3-1 dog now. Continuation? Yes. Looking to take it down with 600,000, almost half the pot, but that's not going to happen.
And Haggerty opening in early position, that flop definitely could have hit his hand. Just unfortunate for him that A. Bear has a bigger piece of it.
I hope the service is not this slow at his restaurant.
That's a good idea.
Call.
There's a call.
Basket.
Yeah.
Turn card now. 4 of diamonds. A. Bear still ahead and picks up a flush draw.
Check.
Haggerty checks with those 3 diamonds on board.
And A. Bear here, we've seen him keep pots pretty small and use his hands that could go value or could go bluff catching as bluff catchers.
And he does check back. Queen of spades on the end. Haggerty pairs up, but it's no good. He's going to have to be very cautious on this very connected board.
Check.
Second pair with the top kicker. He checks. And A. Bear acting pretty quickly here.
600,000.
He does fire quarter pot.
Tiny value bet, targeting exactly the type of hand that Haggerty has.
Wow, how does Haggerty get away from this?
That 600K is just dying for a call. And does Haggerty have the discipline to realize that and make this laydown?
He's leaning into his chips like he wants to grab them, is Haggerty.
Always dangerous to be holding them in your hand, right? I feel like it's so easy to just drop them in the center and say, show me what you got.
Wow, a disciplined fold from Haggerty.
Amazing. That's a really good laydown. I think he may be thinking about the earlier hand where A. Bear had ace queen versus Juan's kings and made that same teeny value bet on the river.
As A. Bear collects the pot, he remains the favorite 7-handed. We're on a 50K bubble between 6th and 7th place. $1.5 million plus to tonight's champ and the chance to play $1 million winner-take-all free roll for the bracelet. Jamie, 7th place right now would be the biggest single payday for any of these guys. Is that a factor?
Of course. I mean, it's got to be in your head. And for a lot of these guys who play online in ring-fence markets like New Jersey and Nevada, 5 figures is sometimes the most they've played for.
Sean Stroke with a suited ace raised it up to 550. Hags on the button. Jack 7 gives way. As does Juan to the chip leader, Joseph A. Bear. 10-8 off. He's not adverse to playing this kind of hand in the big blind. Getting odds. Again, out of position, and he does make the call, remaining active. Stroke with the best of it. Neither celebrating that flop. A. Bear checks his gut shot. With the best of it, with ace high, Stroke bets 400,000.
I would like to see a little more cheese on this bet on a board that's so wet, that's so connected with a flush draw. You want to give yourself a chance to win it right now, especially with so little equity in his ace-4.
And a straight on the turn for A. Bear. 3 diamonds out there. A. Bear checks again. Neither playing a diamond. Sean Does he want to go after it here?
I like Hebert's check because we've seen Stroke like to barrel through hands, but he sees the writing on the wall there that this one's not winnable.
4 diamonds now out there. Hebert has the best of it. He's got the straight, but doesn't like the diamonds, and he does check again.
Oh yeah, Hebert's hand has turned into just a bluff catcher after being so pleased with that turn.
And wow, Stroke comes with 950 now. What can Hebert do? Any diamond beats him, but he makes the call. And he takes the pot. Well done by the chip leader.
Nice call.
That looks like an opponent-specific call. What do you think? He's seen enough from Stroke in these other hands.
Gut shot come home, gut punch to Sean Stroke. So, a look at the leaderboard. Hebert maintaining a lead over the field. Slow and steady is working.
And Sean Stroke, who came in second in chips, has been playing fast and erratic, and it has not served him quite as well.
4 players under 3 million with the blinds ever increasing. He was the favorite to start, playing from the lead and for more than himself.
It would mean the world to me to win this for Mom.
For Joseph Hebert, a chance to fulfill a promise. For his opposition, their own tales, their own journeys, their own drives to a bracelet and more than $2.5 million. 7 stories right there, final chapters, here at the World Series of Poker main event. The outside of the Rio looks pretty much the same. Inside, a different story. From online play to a live final table, we bring you the domestic portion of the World Series of Poker main event. Lon McCarron along with Jamie Kerstetter and Jeff Platt. 38-year-old Joseph Hebert remains the story.
Armed not only with the chip lead, but a ton of personal motivation. Smart money must be on Hebert.
63-year-old Ron Jenkins, the table's elder statesman.
And just look at him. He's thrilled to be here.
Short stack Sean Stroke has shown us he's capable of anything.
4 S's in a row, Lon. Not bad with the alliteration.
A look at where we stack up 7-handed. Brought to you by Caesars Rewards. Hebert with a 2-1 chip lead over Michael Cannon. Ryan Haggerty is a tough New Jersey pro. He's in third. Right now, though, it's Hebert's final table for the taking.
Oh man, it has been amazing. I have this guy from Gulf Coast Poker actually, and Bill has just been rock solid. He's been texting me every day, make sure I'm okay, and also a lot of the circuit grinders back home in Metairie and the bar scene and stuff. They're all texting me and congratulating me as well, and as well as my fiance and my son, and my dad as well, and my sister and my brother.
Yeah, with most of our daily lives moving online this year, it makes sense that Joseph's rail would do the same. And I'm just happy to see the players' families and friends showing their support from all around the world right now.
You see the hashtag for Linda. Joseph lost his mom, Linda, midway through 2020. She was his biggest fan. Jack 6 of diamonds, a raise to 525 from Joseph. There's Michael Cannon, second in chips. He folds.
Yeah, and Hebert's taking advantage of being the big chip leader here with a little bit of a loose open.
Small blind, second short stack, Harrison Dobin, also from New Jersey. 12 big blinds and king-queen.
Hebert has been very, very active, so I really think this shove would be profitable, but...
He does give it up, though, and out to Ron Jenkins with just 11 big blinds, the second short stack, a suited king.
I think the standard play here would be just to defend your big blind and play post-flop, but Jenkins finds the shove.
So now, Hebert facing an all-in. And as you mentioned, Jamie, Jenkins knows that Hebert has been extra active as the big stack, involved in half the hands so far.
Yeah, and on top of that, I like this shove because Jenkins really has only shown down queens and kings so far. So you're going to think he has a little bit of extra fold equity just based on his player image alone.
At one point, Joseph entered the pot 9 straight hands. And he does give up this hand.
Listen. I could have double dropped that around.
So Jenkins with a nice move pre-flop. He's a smart man, fully aware that his crazy young gun image can do him some good here at this final table.
Hi, I'm Ron Jenkins, 63 years old, from Southern California. I'm a real estate broker and developer of warehouses. I had never played online before, But what prompted me to come to this event is that it was only a 2-day event. I've played in the WSOP main event several times, but not lately because it's just takes way too long. Even though we have a lot of young fellas at this table, every one of them is probably far superior on a skill level to me. So I'm just going to rely on catching some cards and luck.
Well, it's a good thing luck is part of this game, or we'd be commentating on Helmuth's win right now.
Folded to the blinds, A-Bear in the small blind with pocket sixes. Still his tourney to lose, as it has been from the shuffle up and deal tonight. 125,000 is just a call. Cannon in the big with 7-4.
This is kind of an interesting limp. I'm wondering how he mixes his strategy. I would assume that this would have been a 3 to 3.5x raise with the pocket sixes, as they're a little hard to play post-flop.
Ooh, a 6 in the window, a set for A-Bear. He's not bulletproof, though. Cannon flopped a straight draw. A-Bear checks it as one does with a set.
As I was saying, sixes are very easy to play post-flop.
Well, no quick check back from Cannon reaching for chips. Oh, and the bluff music to A-Bear's ears, or at least eye candy since nobody talks anymore.
And he will just make the call here.
Why did he call? Michael's thinking. Turn card, ace of clubs. So now Joseph had checked after the flop. Subsequently, Michael voluntarily put chips in the middle. So what will A-Bear do here with the ace? Now he's reaching.
Yeah, A-Bear is going to want to bet this ace. He's going to have more aces in the small blind than the big blind that just checked behind. So he's going to want to bet when he has the ace, when he has a set, and also when he has a wide range of bluffs here. But unfortunately for A-Bear, Cannon was empty.
Well, A-Bear's anything but empty, up to 14.5 million. Chips still leading the way at this final table. Today's champion faces the winner of the international final table, played at King's Resort in Czech Republic. That winner will compete against the winner of the Vegas final table you're watching now. Almost 700 players competed online. 9 will travel to play live. 1 will come to the U.S. to play for the bracelet and an extra $1 million.
Stars to emerge as 2017 main event 7th place finisher Damian Salas.
Yeah.
All right, still 7-handed here in Las Vegas.
I was trying to pull one there, for sure.
A-Bear under the gun. Big blind ante format. Blinds right now, 125,000, 250. Folded to Michael Cannon, second in chips. Going to flex his muscle with queen 9, a min raise to 500,000. Jenkins still kind of short stacked, gives his button away. Haggerty in the small blind, one of 3 Jersey boys to make this final table. We lost one in Garshon Distenfeld already. Now Juan in the big blind. 8-4 suited, 25-year-old PhD candidate going to University of Wisconsin.
He's trying to decide if this hand is good enough to throw in that 1 extra big blind. His cards are likely to be live since they're so bad, and they are suited.
He had 13 bigs to start the hand. He does commit 250,000 more of his stack. Heads up against Cannon. Here at the flop, 4 Queen King. Middle pair for Cannon, bottom pair for Juan. Juan checks.
I'd expect a c-bet out of here, even though it's second pair. You could just bluff catch with a hand like this. It's a connected board with a flush draw, but he does check.
Tray of spades, status quo on the turn. Another check from Juan.
Cannon with a deeper stack can afford to put some pressure on here and make a delayed c-bet, which he does.
There it comes. Confident his queens are good, or at least he can scare the shorter stack. 400,000.
Oh, and a sticky call from Juan here. You think that if Cannon is bluffing, he's probably going to fire another barrel on the river, and are you really going to stick around for that one too?
An ace on the end perhaps could work for either if they are willing. Tony has the action. They both check. And Cannon takes it. Juan sinks lower, and the desperation meter is redlining for Tony Juan. So a nice pot for Michael Cannon, whose background makes him an ideal candidate for poker success.
I was very fortunate when I was younger to make some money, so I had some money saved up, and being in esports so young, I never actually had a job or a profession. So it was always just a joke between our friends how I was just always, living and not really working or doing anything. So our friends always thought it was a joke that we would call myself that I was a professional liver instead of actually doing anything productive to society. But hopefully this will help make some changes.
Nothing ordinary about Michael's take, nothing ordinary about this year's main event. 2 online tournaments, 2 live final tables, 1 heads-up match. Winner takes the bracelet and an extra $1 million, a creative solution in uncharted times.
I don't know about you, Lon, but I'm looking forward to charted times again.
Sean Stroke under the gun, short stack pocket tray says all in. An ace-king for Dobin. He's in 4th place. This is going to get fun.
You're thrilled to see a pocket pair on such a short stack. Stroke is happy to get that in, and Dobin has to think his ace-king is good here versus just 4 big blinds.
And Jenkins is all in with queens again. Oh, my.
This is why they always say that live poker's rigged. Look at this setup.
What's it going to take for Tony to call? No way. A-Bear.
Warm it up, Miyagi style.
Send them all home.
Salivating.
Good luck to us all. But we all aren't going to win.
Not going to be. So a 3-way all-in. Dobin with ace-king has the 2 others covered. 7-handed for a long time, and now, quickly, we could lose 2 players if things fall right for Dobin. Here we go. At the other end of the spectrum is Stroke. If he gets lucky, he could triple up to a decent stack.
Perhaps the most depressing part when you have 4 big blinds, you triple up to a shove stack.
Here we go. 10 deuce deuce. The pocket queens hold up for Jenkins so far. Stroke in big trouble. Stroke looking for a tray. Dobin needs an ace or a king to knock the other 2 out. Turn card. Another 10. Jenkins still ahead with the 2 pair. You see the outs for the respective player. Stroke needing the longest of shots. The river card, Jack of spades, and that brings the main event to a close for Sean Stroke out in 7th.
Good game. Nice playing with you the first couple days.
Stroke wins almost 164 grand. Dobin took a big hit. 3/4 of his chips go to Jenkins. Jenkins now improves his holdings to 8.1 million. And Tony Juan, 1 step higher on the pay scale. Queens hold, trays miss. We're down to 6. It was the biggest hand of this final table so far. Stroke all in, Jenkins all in, Dobin almost all in. When the chips settled, they settled in front of 63-year-old Ron Jenkins, now in 3rd place, leaving Dobin with crumbs, just 4 big blinds. And as we get back to the action, Dobin is all in with 5 tray.
Yeah, Dobin found himself in the unfortunate position of having to post the big blind and the big blind ante after losing all those chips. Committed with any 2 cards, 5-3 offsuit.
And it goes down in flames to Joseph A. Bear. The big stack gets a little bigger. And for Harrison Dobin, 6th place, takes home over 215 grand. Nice showing. What a great story he will take home to New Jersey. So a couple of quick exits now leave us five-handed. Bear with 39% of the chips in play. Bear and Juan are polar opposites. Cannon, Jenkins, and Haggerty bunched in the middle.
This is an amazing opportunity for Bear to apply maximum pressure to the middling stacks who are looking to ladder while that short stack just hangs around.
All right, so Ryan Haggerty and his buddy Michael Cannon still in pretty good shape here at this final table. Amazing. They have quite a poker history behind them. Haggerty with king, queen, a raise to 500,000. That's a min raise. Juan, the short stack with 8 big blinds folds. Bear, the big stack on the button, 10-8 of clubs.
He's got the big stack, he's got position, he's got a fun hand to play.
And he will stay active, calling for 500 grand. Cannon folds a small blind. Jenkins got healthy real quick, gives up his big blind. So 2 players, Haggerty holding 2 overcards to Bear's 10-8 suited.
I think most chip leaders may elect to 3-bet the hand like 10-8 suited or fold it. But, you know, we've seen Bear kind of want to play smaller pots post-flop.
Couple of spades out there. Haggerty still ahead, but a troublesome ace pops up on the flop. And he does check it. That opened the door for Joseph.
I mean, this is the beauty of position. You get to act last. You get to decide, do you want to take a stab at this?
A luxury such a chip leader can afford. He does bet 450. And Haggerty thinking, I can't hang around. And he does fold. And Bear using that big stack well right there. Bear taking that pot with 10 high. Jeff Platt has more on Bear and his strong connection to his family.
Joseph Bear came out to Las Vegas this summer to fire some World Series of Poker online bracelet events. Bear had his fair share of deep runs, but no big score. He texted back and forth with his mom, Linda, after leaving Vegas, telling her, quote, I hope one day I can win a bracelet, end quote. His mom replied, I keep hoping and praying that what will be, things will work out. That was their last conversation. Linda passed away 3 days later of a pulmonary embolism. Joseph says he feels her presence daily, and that presence has really inspired his run this tourney. He says it's hashtag for Linda, and to win this tournament and then a bracelet would mean the world to him, but more importantly, to her.
World Series circuit grinders and pretty much the whole poker world behind Joseph right now. Vanessa Cade chiming in with the hashtag for Linda. Some other players out there, Mikey Y. Get it, Joe? Why not? And also one of the nice guys in poker sending his love Joseph's way, Michael Leck.
Yeah, I mean, he won his first bracelet the last summer online. And if you want to see a guy dancing poorly after winning a bracelet, you should look at his social media.
He is a fun guy to have at your table. Folded to Bear in the small blind. Now a 3x raised with queen 7, blind on blind.
Yeah, we've seen Bear mix it up from the small blind a lot. He limped those 6s. I believe he less than 3x'd a king jack earlier, and now he's full 3x'ing queen 7. It's definitely hard to read him when he has everything in his bag of tricks.
And Michael calls for $500,000 more with a narrow path to victory against the chip leader. King high flop. Cannon with a gut shot, but Bear still ahead with that queen in his hand. Reaching, grabbing one of the mini frisbees. Total bet of $650,000.
It's a nice bet from the chip leader. Just put some pressure on someone who has to worry about their stack a little more. But with his gutter ball, I don't think Cannon's going to go anywhere quite yet.
Cannon started the hand with 33 big blinds. And he makes that call, inflating the pot to over $3 million. Bear, as normal, looking calm, cool, collected. Tray of hearts on the turn, status quo.
The pot swollen to 3 million. Really, any bet that A-Bear can muster right now would put a lot of pressure on Cannon's stack.
Cannon in for 1.6 million so far, and $1.6 million from A-Bear there.
We see Cannon only has 8 high, but think of how gross you'd feel even if you had a 9 here. This is just a really good bet from the chip leader to just make Cannon squirm a little bit and have to decide what to do.
Cannon in a tough spot, and he does give it up. Aggression every step of the way from Joseph A. Bear. He has 19 million now, showing all those people who supported him just what kind of poker player he is. Mom looking down with a big smile right now, no doubt.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah! Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that fight?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
We had 9 finalists, but only 8 players took to the table after one positive pregame COVID test. Garshon Dissenfeld out in 8th. Sean Stroke followed in 7th. Harrison Dobin's ace-king couldn't compete with Jenkins' queen, so that leaves us 5-handed. A-Bear, where he's been the entire way, comfortably in first. Blinds continue to rise, as they do, leaving Juan in all-in or fold mode, and Haggerty getting there, Jamie.
Yeah, Juan needs a hand and he needs it fast, but Haggerty with 15 big blinds still has a little bit of play left in his stack.
A-Bear under the gun technically, but in reality, when he's in a pot, it seems everyone else is under the gun. King 9.
And A-Bear takes a good look at Juan's stack to see, if I raise this, am I committing to your all-in? And he is. With just 5 big blinds, he decides to open it anyway, making this open look really strong.
Mid-raise from A-Bear to $500,000. To Haggerty in the small blind. A look, a think, and a fold. Now in the big blind, the short stack, Juan. 7-6 of hearts.
And oh baby, he's considering the stop and go. Haven't seen one of these in years.
He's heavily invested already in the big blind with a big blind ante, and he calls for one more of his 3 big blinds. So it's David and Goliath here. 3 big blinds against 76 big blinds.
And Juan's really looking for anything on the flop, any kind of equity to get the remainder of his stack in.
And he's going to do it with a straight draw and a quick call from A-Bear. And here we go. It's go time and good luck time for Tony Juan at risk.
No, not bad.
Pretty trivial call for A-Bear there with king high, knowing that Juan is going to be shoving with any shred of equity and that king high rates to be the best hand still.
Tony looking to get lucky. Queen of Diamonds brings Tony to the edge of bleakness. 1 card to come. Joseph can take another step towards his promise kept. 7 of clubs, and the underdog comes through. The double up is worth 2.8 million, and he's still the short stack, but still in the game.
Oh man, there's no better feeling in poker.
A mosquito bite to A-Bear stack, but he'd love to get the job done sooner than later here at this final table. Tony's reaction when he sees the 7 pairing him on the end. All right, so the PhD graduate student looking to stick around a little bit longer. Born in China, he made his way to the University of Wisconsin to tackle probability. He's walking the same hallowed halls that Phil Hellmuth walked before he dropped out.
Yeah, credit to Tony for sticking with school. Half my friends in poker have dropped out to continue playing poker. It looks like Tony found a way to do both.
He's still among us. One of the 5-handed lucky ones, 11 big blinds now. $100,000 difference between 5th and 4th. Nice little money bubble here. Cannon with ace-9. Gives it up. Jenkins folds to Haggerty now on the button. Now it's time to fold. Thank you. Tony now in the small blind. Ace 10 of hearts. 7-6 was good enough.
All in.
Yep. Go time again. A-Bear in the big blind with a small pocket pair. He wants a count of his former chips.
I think 4s is probably the first pair that you feel comfortable with calling here, where if you have deuces or 3s, you know you're very rarely dominating your opponent.
Joseph makes the call and has Tony at risk and behind once again. So Juan with 2 overs, 2 hearts to A-Bear's small pocket pair.
Juan is hoping that that lucky 7 he hit on the river can mean something by him winning this flip here and getting right back in the tournament.
No ace, no 10, 1 heart. The pocket 4s stand tall for the big stack. Tony Juan looking for something. You see his outs, an ace or a 10 or running hearts. Turn card 7 of diamonds does nothing to help Tony. And you see his crest fall.
It's nice to see some emotion on a poker player, though. You can feel how bad he wants this.
River card, 9 of hearts, no sequel double up for Tony Juan. A great run ends in 5th place.
Next one.
Tony Juan wins almost $287,000. What a terrific performance for this college grad student. And how about Joseph A-Bear sitting behind nearly 21 million chips on the roll of a lifetime? For the winner of this final table, a 1 in 2 chance of winning that gold bracelet. Plus, there's $1 million sweetener added by Caesars. Jamie, a quick recap on how something is better than nothing these days in poker?
For sure. When everyone was dying to play poker, I feel like they made the best of a bad situation and then added $1 million.
4 remain at this final table. 1 will advance for the chance to play for another $1 million, as we mentioned, and the title of main event champion. The winner of this table will meet the winner of the European final table. Ace King for Haggerty. Short stack.
All in.
14 big blinds being put into the middle.
Give me a count.
Yeah.
A-Bear in the small blind with A7 wants another count. Haggerty happy to help out. Good radar.
Call.
Cannon makes the call with ace queen.
Oh, I dodged the bullet there. Wow.
Your head's that good?
That's sick.
Wow. I thought you were suited too. At least you're not that good.
And if they seem real casual with each other, it's because they're longtime friends involved in this massive pot together playing for $1.5 million.
A7 hearts, yeah.
Yeah, the 2 would rent a beach house in AC to play the Borgata series. 5 of hearts.
A7 hearts, yeah.
What do you think now? They're going to rent a bigger house?
Well, we know who's going to pay for it, whoever wins a hand. 1 card to come. Haggerty at risk but ahead. And a straight comes on the end, and they're going to chop it.
Wow, that's just
7
sick.
hearts.
Pretty friendly.
Hearts, yeah.
A-Bear was proud of his good fold, now lamenting if he'd stuck around, a flush on the river knocks the 2 of them out. For more on Ryan Haggerty, let's get it down to Jeff Platt on the floor.
Ryan Haggerty majored in journalism in college and thought for a second that that was the career he wanted to pursue. Haggerty fell in love with playing the game versus covering the game. A quick 20K score out of college led him down the professional path, a path certainly with its ups and downs. Haggerty says he needed to Uber to pay the bills, but never complained, and the last 3 years have been really good for Hags. He considers Michael Cannon one of his best friends in poker. That friendship grew over experience on the East Coast poker scene. They also are good friends with a guy who is pretty familiar with this whole main event thing, and that would be 2017 champion Scott Blumstein. Scott tells me his advice to them: soak in the moment. And that's exactly what they're doing at this final table.
Yeah, I've probably logged thousands of hands versus Ryan Haggerty. He is extremely online, playing a full MTT schedule, and really grinding away the last 3 years just waiting for a moment like this.
So we remain a table for 4. Just got a little more expensive to play. 150, 300,000 are the blinds. Pocket 8s for the chip leader. The new min raise now is 600,000. Cannon with ace 4. He finds a fold, as does Jenkins to Haggerty now. 12 big blinds. A weak ace, the short stack.
Haggerty has an interesting decision here between defending his ace-7 or shoving. And I think with A-Bear being so active, I prefer a shove.
Well, he's just going to take a peek at the board before deciding how to proceed here. And Hags does find an ace in the flop. Ryan checks. A-Bear, the pre-flop raiser, now continues with a small 300,000 chip bet.
Probably a bit disappointing to Haggerty, who flops his ace, and he's just looking at a little more than a 1 big blind stab from the chip leader.
And now he says all in. Let's go for it all. Maybe too late to get a double up.
Yeah, it seems so. Although this flop is very connected with a flush draw, so I don't hate his decision to shove and just take down this much-needed pot right here.
Chip leader gives way, and Ryan Haggerty increases his stack by nearly a third. 1 million new chips into his stack. This New Jersey poker pro is seeing his career on the upswing lately.
Typically for a lot of poker players, you know, like sometimes in the beginning of your career, like you think you're a lot better than you are, and things don't go so well. So, you know, that was kind of the case for me, and it was kind of a learning curve as far as just getting better and managing my bankroll better. And, you know, like these past like I say 3 years ago, I started really, you know, understanding that and kind of maturing in my game, and then it's kind of, you know, come to fruition there, especially that I got better playing live too, not just online.
Safe to say that this main event is going slightly better than the first one he played.
Yeah, he busted in the final level of day number 2. And just a side note, he and Cannon, good friends as mentioned, but they agreed not to discuss this main event. He said in the end, we're just competitors.
And that's very classy of them. There's a lot of talk of the seediness of poker or possible collusion, but we had one guy donate all his winnings to charity, and then we have 2 close friends deciding to put their integrity ahead of a possible edge in this game.
A-Bear just limping with 9-7, Cannon with 9-8 in the big blind. Checks his option. No pre-flop raise. And an 8 in the window, middle pair, good for Cannon. A-Bear with 4 to a straight. He checks. That might be Phil Lock.
I was going to ask you, how can we really be sure that this has been
Right.
Cannon the whole time?
Cannon bets 300,000.
That might be 3 kids stacked up in a trench coat.
A-Bear, oh wow, adding a new wrinkle to his makeup. A check raise to 1 million.
I really love this play. Not only does he have the gutter ball, so he's a little bit to go with this gutsy play, but he's just putting Cannon in such a gross spot with so much of his range. He has second pair, he has some backdoors, and he has to just hit the muck.
Joseph's play pretty much like a heads-up squeeze play, Jamie.
And I love that. He only had to raise 1 million, barely take any risk, and gets to take down a pot he doesn't deserve.
Joseph embracing the role of chip leader quite well at this final table.
I mean, you feel a little bit added pressure because you're chip leader, a lot of expectations, but I'm not looking at it like that. I'm just going to sit and play my game and look at the players and try and figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to approach the game. I'm just being patient as much as I can be. Just going to play my game and sit down at the table and just try and read people and understand what they're doing.
Because it's poker, you're going to find 1,000 poker players criticizing any poker player's play, but whatever his game is has been working so far tonight.
And that's the name of the game. Confidence is everything. So if he's comfortable playing this way and it's working, why would you change a thing?
All in.
All in.
Jenkins all in with ace-jack from the small blind. Going to put Haggerty to the ultimate test, who has ace-8 off, and he makes that call and is dominated. Fourth place money beckons if he can't get lucky.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, unlucky spot for Haggerty, but this is where it's nice to have all those reps in online, having played thousands and thousands of hands. He just knows that this is the right call, and he doesn't have to sweat the results-oriented fact that he's against ace-jack.
Jenkins, the second biggest stack right now, trying to get stronger. Here is the flop, and both pair their kickers.
Jeez, in the window.
Wow.
So hyped.
Oh my gosh.
That's torture.
Tough break for Ryan Haggerty.
It's very funny that 0.01 seconds of seeing the 8 is so painful.
4 of diamonds brings Haggerty to perhaps his last river card of the 2020 main event.
He needs one of those last 2 8s or he is going home.
The river card is a king. Haggerty comes up empty there, but far from empty when he cashes out fourth place, worth over $387,000. Well done, Ryan.
Yeah, he's doubling his lifetime earnings in one day.
They had to do it. They couldn't just do it normally. You know, had to do it the hard way. Good luck, guys.
And we are down to 3.
Hi everyone. This pandemic kept me from traveling to Vegas this year to report on the World Series main event. In fact, it pretty much kept me from traveling anywhere. This is literally the most dressed up I've been in a year, and I'm still wearing sweatpants. So I guess you'll have to get along without me, and as for me, I will be watching along from home just like everybody else. But I miss you all, and I can't wait to be back.
Good to see Kara, if only virtually from across the pond. We'll cross our fingers for the main event 2021. A look at our Caesars Rewards leaderboard. Joseph Hebert, still the man, large and in charge with almost half the chips in play. Jenkins moved up to second and has held on to that role. Let's go down to Jeff right now, standing by with tonight's fourth place finisher.
Well, Ryan, how do you think that you played today?
No, I'm happy with the way I played. When I look back at all the hands I played, I started off the day pretty good. Never got a ton going, but I was always kind of doing all right. And then I got kind of short, but I was able to get some nice pay jumps there. So I mean, I really can't complain about the result or the way I played, really.
You're taking home almost $400,000. What kind of impact does that score have on your career?
It's awesome because you really get to pad the bankroll a lot and be comfortable, and that's huge, of course. And you can have a little fun with that money too, of course. So yeah, no, it means a lot for me, especially for my career wise.
It's only fitting in this terrible year that we look to the sidelines expecting Kara Scott and we get Jeff Platt.
Imagine me walking in and having my best divorce court material and seeing you.
We miss you, Norman Chad.
All 3 with motley-looking hands, seeing the flop for cheap. Only Jenkins gets a piece, the smallest piece of that flop. Cannon checks, Jenkins checks, Hebert bets. 400,000 with 8 high. Jenkins makes a call. Anybody want to claim that ace of diamonds? Jenkins checks his wheel draw. Hebert reaching again. More than a third of the pot, 700,000.
Surprising quick fold from Jenkins, as I wouldn't expect Hebert to have many aces having limped that button. I may have stuck around with a pair and a draw.
Nobody took the initiative, so Hebert in great position to really loosen up with that big stack and force the others to make tough choices. Hebert with the button under the gun.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Blinds at 150, 300,000. And he looks down at a couple of aces.
I don't think we'll be limping this one.
His normal min raise to 600,000 now. King, queen for Cannon.
Pretty unlucky spot. I would expect Hebert to be opening a lot of buttons, so king, queen is a pretty good hand to shove here.
All in.
And he does just that. 4.8 million and a snap call from the aces. And Joseph Hebert in line for another knockout at this final table.
Nice hand, young man.
Good luck. Thanks.
Whoa. Cannon and Hebert. Jenkins watching with keen interest. He could be guaranteed another $500,000 if he gets heads up with Cannon's elimination. Michael Cannon in danger of falling his buddy Ryan Haggerty out the door. 5-10-6. A steep climb to victory gets rockier for Cannon.
I'll take a jack.
He needs something, and he needs something right now. Deuce of hearts, and it's over. Michael Cannon drawing dead after the turn.
Good luck.
Wow, and they say it's never easy, but I don't know. That looked pretty easy.
That was pretty darn easy. Michael will collect third place winnings of $529,000. But we're heads up now. Hebert and Jenkins for a shot at the bracelet. Business to take care of. The winner gets $1.5 million. Michael Cannon's exit in third leaves Ron Jenkins and Joseph Hebert heads up. Hebert held the chip lead from the very first hand. He still holds it, but as is often the case in poker, one double up can change everything. Yeah, it would totally switch these two positions on the leaderboard. Now we get ready for hand number one of heads up. Jamie, a true test of your poker will.
Yeah, this can be a real mental challenge. You have to settle in as if the leaderboard could switch 100 times and you could be playing for 5 hours.
Both will collect their biggest ever poker paycheck, but still so much to play for. Hebert has been in control the whole way. Ace-queen here to open up, offsuit. Blinds at 150, 300,000. And there is a raise to 700,000. And Jenkins with queens again, his hand of the night. Stand back, Jamie. Here come the fireworks.
Man, and first hand of heads up, and we could have the situation that you described where a double up for Jenkins means he's the 2-to-1 favorite.
This is $2 million, right?
Jenkins played with the short stack for so long. 3 bets to 2.3 million.
All in.
All in. And a call on hand number one. Jenkins in line to get that double up and take the chip lead.
This might be a very, very short.
One hand.
One hand. That's
I like it.
One ace. I do too.
The shortest final table ever.
Here is the flop. Jenkins at risk and an ace for Hebert. It is his night. And only one queen left in the deck for Jenkins.
Not over yet. Not over yet.
Either way, we're getting all in.
Jenkins prepaying the nice hand comment. No one likes to hear that. We've all played poker long enough to know there's a turn and river coming.
The emotion held at bay, but just barely to this point. Now welling up in Joseph. For Linda indeed. Now respectful Jenkins letting Hebert feel the moment. Turn card, 4 of hearts. 1 card to come.
Just one lonely out in the deck for Jenkins.
Joseph Hebert made a promise to his late mom. 1 card from fulfilling it. He needs to dodge the last queen, and there is the 8. It is done. Joseph Hebert takes it down.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good job.
Fittingly, a quiet room allowing Joseph and those tears of pain to come and turn them into tears of joy, those tears to honor his mom, Linda. What an emotional and impressive win for Louisiana native Joseph Hebert. Wire to wire for $1.5 million, and now a shot at the championship bracelet. Quite the run for the part-time waiter. Let's send it down to Jeff Platt, who was with our final two competitors.
Well, gentlemen, that was a captivating final table, a really action-packed burst of heads up, to say the least. Joseph, congratulations. Ron, I'll start with you. What was this entire main event experience like?
It was nice. Just another day.
Just another day?
Just another day.
Just another $1 million?
No. Joseph deserved this win, and I'm glad he won.
Joseph, what does winning this tournament mean to you?
It means the world to me. Of course, my mom passed in July, so this is hashtag for Linda, and I'm just overwhelmed with emotion right now. I just can't even speak. I'm just like, this is unbelievable.
Could you feel her presence during this tournament?
Yes, of course. I always feel her. As soon as I settled in a little bit, it took a little while to settle in, but once I settled in, it was amazing.
You'll be back in action soon for an extra $1 million and for that World Series of Poker main event bracelet. What does that kind of opportunity mean?
I mean, that opportunity is, I just can't even explain the way it feels or the opportunity I have to do this. Like, if it wasn't for my fiance and my son, I wouldn't be here right now at all. So to have that opportunity is just amazing.
We look forward to that heads-up match.
So much,
we'll see you soon.
Appreciate
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
It's nice to see one of the good guys win, and it's nice seeing the emotion on his face too, as he was stoic the whole final table, just waiting for this release of emotions and to call his family.
I won.
Hello?
I won.
Shut up, you did?
Yep.
He won. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Daddy, you won?
I won.
Made a good job.
Yeah. I love you. Bye. Bye.
You'll have a hard time finding a better story than Joseph Hebert taking down this final table. With all that's going on in the world and in his life, he used his chip lead as a sword and a shield, advancing to heads up against the international champion. For Jamie Kerstetter and Jeff Platt, I'm Lon McCarron. The main event bracelet coming more and more into focus. It's a game that knows no boundaries. Anyone can win, anywhere, anytime. Tonight from Rozvadov, Czech Republic, a final table where 8 players sit on the cusp of poker greatness. 8 down to 1 for a chance at poker's most coveted trophy. In a most unusual year, it's clear that anything can happen. Yep, pretty much nothing went as planned this year, so it's no surprise to see the World Series of Poker main event play out, at least in part, halfway across the world. Rozvadov, Czech Republic, playing host to the international portion of the World Series of Poker main event. Tonight's champ goes heads up for the World Championship bracelet and an extra $1 million. Hi, everybody. Lon McCarron along with Jamie Kerstetter. Jamie, I will handle pronouncing the guy in third place. You take the rest.
Sure, as long as they don't have to be correct.
8 players in contention. 1 player chose not to travel from China, so Peiwan's son received 9th place money. Brazil's Bruno Botellon, Triple B from now on, leads the way. One very familiar name made this final table. Damian Salas from Argentina, 7th in the 2017 main event. There is Triple B, our chip leader.
He's an accomplished online pro who goes by the screen name What Is Going On.
Bulgaria's Stoyan Obreshkov is the short stack, and this guy has a lot of work to do with this stacked final table. And a man who has been here before, Argentina's Damian Salas.
Salas had just one thing to say: I'm not bleeping finishing 7th again.
674 entrants over 3 starting flights and 10 hours of online play got us to this final table. There is the chip leader under the gun, the blind 75,150 with the big blind ante. The minimum payout right now almost 110,000 US. Salas, wow, looks down at ace, queen of hearts in the very first hand. Salas third in chips. The Argentine barrister raises it up to 350,000. Ruivo, Manuel Alfonso Suarez Ruivo. Why have two names when four get the job done? 9-8 of clubs.
With the hand a little too weak to flat, he's deciding whether he wants to take control with a 3-bet here.
He's going to test the rest of the table. Also, a re-raise to 950. And Michaelitis now with ace-9 suited. And he'll give that up. Over to Strata. His cards are suited as well. Ramon Miquel. What is this? Suited ace-4. And Spicer gives up a suited king. So back to Salas, who is suited as well.
And Salas has a decision to make here. He's out of position, so a flat might not be so enticing. I think a 4-bet might be a little bit better.
Raise.
And Damien announces raise. Take that, Manuel. 2 million to go.
And back on Ruivo, he's getting a great price, but he does just have 9 high. He also has to consider what this would do to his stack size. If he makes the call here, he has to consider ICM and where he sits versus the rest of the table.
Manuel does fold, and Damien takes a nice pot right out of the gate.
Have so luck.
Salas announces himself immediately. As we mentioned at the top, a bit of a different year at the World Series, as it was everywhere. This final 8 come to Czech Republic by way of online play at GG Poker. One winner heads to Las Vegas to play heads up for the bracelet and $1 million on top of this regular prize pool. Salas in early position, now picking up 2 red queens.
Right.
He raises it up to 350. Ruivo says not again. Dominikas Michaelitis.
2 10s, you have a decision here whether you want a flat or 3-bet.
Lithuanian loves chess. Who doesn't love chess now after the Queen's Gambit came out? Pocket tens.
Call.
And he makes the call.
Yeah, he's choosing to play conservatively, perhaps because there are shorter stacks around the table. You don't really want to mess with one of the chip leaders' early position raise.
No one else wants to get involved or round to our chip leader in the big blind. 8-6 for Bruno.
Probably a close decision. You know your cards are likely to be live, but he does make the conservative fold.
So heads up queens versus tens, a 7 high flop. Both are okay with that. A check from Salas.
I'd expect Michaelitis to make a bet here, just knowing that his hand is a little bit vulnerable to overcards on the turn and river, but he does check.
And there is a queen on the turn. Salas scores a set, and Michaelitis dead in the water. Now Salas reaching for chips. 275.
Very small bet. Very callable by the pocket tens for sure.
Exactly what Damien wanted. And there is the call. Feeling very comfortable is Damien. River card and quad alert, overkill for Damien, but a thing of beauty, no?
Thing of beauty also because you got to feel a little bit better about your pocket tens now that the queen pairs.
Exactly. $1,350,000 is the river bet from Damien Salas. Oh, wow, and Michaelitis finds a fold.
And that's an unexpected fold, really good fold, and I wonder if that has to do with how he feels about Salas. Maybe he feels Salas is a little bit snug.
Salas moving closer to the chip lead, cruising here, and that might be in part to his side occupation.
Yo trabajé muchísimos años como abogado y creo que cuando empecé a jugar al póker, creo que me lo hizo mucho más fácil porque ya traía arraigado conmigo un pensamiento lógico y estratégico. Yo soy abogado de conflictos y hay muchas similitudes, claramente. Uno tiene que tener la versatilidad suficiente para estar adaptándose continuamente a las distintas estrategias de los rivales para hacer que nuestros resultados, digamos, sean más profitables.
Yeah, as a lawyer, I've developed that same strategic and logical thinking, which has led me also to 0 main event final tables.
Damian collected $1.4 million for 7th place in 2017's main event. Last September, over $800,000 for 3rd place in an online WPT championship. With pocket 10s, another raise to $425 here. Ruivo with pocket 7s.
And a disciplined fold from Ruivo. I like the fact that he took control and 3-bet the 9-8 suited, and then he folded the 7s here because he wasn't going to be the aggressor.
Maybe people worried about Damian. Maybe it means danger in any language. Damian actually means to tame or subdue, so there you go. Pocket 4s for Mikel. In the small blind. And he gives way now to Hannes Spicer. Queen 10 suited, 10 big blinds. And he says all in.
And wow, that's a hand I would just love to defend for the 1 big blind.
Salas makes the call. Spicer at risk. Salas ahead with the pair. Spicer made 1 final table during last summer's GG Poker WSOP Summer Online Series, a 6th place finish, but needs help here to improve upon that. Here is the flop. Spicer at risk. It is ace, ace, jack. Salas still good, holding those pocket 10s. Spicer with a Broadway draw.
And those sneaky counterfeit outs.
Turn card. Spicer improves to open-ended now. Damian Salas looking to get the first knockout. The river card is a blank. And Spicer, the first to get knocked off of this tough final table. 8th place money worth about $110,000. Hard to draw up a better start. Damian Salas taking control.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Austrian Hannes Spicer out in 8th here at King's Casino. Argentina's Damian Salas has his queens hold up over Spicer's Queen 10. Though the format is changed this year, the bracelet's still impressive. And Jamie, be honest, would you wear it? And if you do, where would you wear it?
I don't know. It's pretty ostentatious. I'd probably save it for special occasions like weddings, birthdays, Mondays, trips to the post office.
I see where you're going there. Yeah, always. Michaelitis with Queen 7. It's been folded to him in the small blind. And he says all in, hoping the shorter stacked big blind has nothing, but straighta has something.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good shove, putting all the ICM pressure on straighta. There's such a narrow range of hands that straighta can call with, and unlucky for Michaelitis, he wakes up with one of them.
Yep, straighta does call all in, and he's at risk, but in good shape. Michaelitis dominated, holding Queen 7. Straighta with the ace-queen at risk. Here's the flop. Straighta still good.
Be some fun, like a 5 or a 9.
No.
Just fun.
At this point, I think you'll take a 10.
10 as well, yeah.
Just for fun. Huh?
4, yeah.
I always love the negotiations with the dealers.
Another king on the turn.
Just a dagger.
Still just those 3 outs. He needs to catch a 7 or straighta will double up.
Pre-flop shove, though proper as it was, may come back to bite Michaelitis. He needs a 7. It's a 3. So thanks to Michaelitis, a stress-free run-out earns a double-up for Marco Straighta.
I'm playing poker since 15 years. It all started with some friends, with some cash games, small cash games. And and then the journey goes on and on.
We all have a poker origin story. Jamie, what's yours?
Well, I started out playing once a week in law school and then kept adding a day a week till it was 7.
All right, action now on Stoyan Obreshkov, King 10. He actually finished 9th in a World Series of Poker Europe event right here in this casino in 2018. Obreshkov in the cutoff with the raise to 900,000, about 2/3 of his stack.
Yeah, it looks like he's committing here unless something crazy happens after him, like multiple all-ins where he could get out of the way and perhaps ladder.
Salas on the button with a dominating hand and suited. And he's putting chips in, and yeah, it's not going to be just a call. It is a re-raise to 1.7 million. Both blinds fold, so back to Obreshkov, and he says all in. And Obreshkov in trouble against Damian Salas. Exactly. So Damian Salas in line for a second knockout here at this final table. Obreshkov over to his limited rail.
Yeah, you should have no regrets for this hand. 7 big blinds in the cutoff. You're actually excited to see a hand as good as King 10 off.
And here is the flop. And a 10 in the window. All diamonds, but nobody holding a diamond.
He looks so relaxed. Not like a guy who's about to go home, huh?
And he looks like a poker terminator right now. Turn card now. Pairs the board. You see the outs for a win for Obreshkov right now. He needs a king to take the whole pot. He can still chop and stick around.
Yeah, 10 or a 7 will split this pot between the two.
The river card. The ace of spades, and that does seal the result in history for all time. Stoyan Obreshkov done with his main event in 7th place. Salas, who finished 7th in the 2017 main event, takes the last of his chips. Obreshkov will collect almost $161,000. So look at the leaderboard reflecting the changing reality in this final table. Damian Salas right on the heels of the chip leader, having eliminated both Spicer and Obreshkov. Ruivo, Mikel, and Michailidis under 20 big blinds.
Yeah, it's been all Salas all day so far, and he's practically tied for the chip lead.
Folded to the small blind, Manuel Ruivo with pocket trays.
All in.
And he says all in. He has the big blind covered. Michailidis makes the call with ace-jack, and Michailidis at risk and needing help as we flip for all of his chips.
And nothing either player could do here. This is the fun gambling part of tournament poker where you just coin flip for hundreds of thousands in equity and see where the chips fall.
All right, here we go for Michailidis tournament life. And a set of trays in the flop for Ruivo. Michailidis needing immediate help and a lot of it.
Come on. 4 of clubs.
Ever the optimist. He's got 5%, but still rooting for that sweat.
Turn card. Michailidis at risk. And it's the 7 of spades. Michailidis drawing dead, and he will finish in 6th place here in the international leg of the main event. He also had a 6th place finish in the 2020 World Series of Poker Online Series for 88 grand. Here, he will pick up over $234,000.
Yeah, and the story of his day were just 2 blind versus blind hands with nothing much he could do.
So that'll be check and mate for Michailidis as he makes his exit. Manuel Ruivo joins Damian Salas as the only final table players with notches in their belts. Manuel plays more online poker than live, which is true of a lot of the international tournament pros.
Says he enjoys fishing, but unfortunately for Ruivo, there's not many fish at this table.
He did finish 6th in the 2018 World Series of Poker Millionaire Maker that had almost 7,400 entrants. He earned $230K for that, and he's guaranteed a lot more here. Damian Salas in the hijack, which is also under the gun with this short-handed table. King 10, a raise to 525. Ruivo with ace-5, and he'll give it up. Damian wants so badly to get his shot at redemption and return to Las Vegas. He took a brutal river beat to get knocked out of that 2017 main event. And so far, so good. Folded to Botan in the big blind, 9-7 of clubs.
Very defendable. That hand has a lot of potential post-flop.
One of the best online players in the world, like several Brazilian players. He does call. And now a clash of the two chip leaders. 5-9-6, top pair for Boteon. He checks.
I like this check back by Salas. That's a big blind kind of board.
Turn card, and oops, there's a new top pair in town, people, and it belongs to Damian Salas. Bruno reaching for chips. Second pair with a straight draw, 450,000.
He's starting to build a pot. Unfortunate for him that Salas hit top pair now, but Boteon's hand is still very good with a pair and the gutter ball.
Damian judiciously calls. River card now. Another baby card could embolden both players. But Bruno checks. Now Damian with the pair of tens.
1.5.
1.5 million.
It's a clear value bet from Salas here with top pair, good kicker.
Raise 5 million.
Wow, back at you, Damian.
I mean, I love this play. He has a 7 in his hand. He's blocking the straight. Very unlikely that Salas has a nutted hand. He checked back the flop, so he doesn't have many 2 pairs. Just putting max pressure on the other chip leader.
Critical moment for Damian Salas.
Call.
And he makes that call! Salas firing on all cylinders, raking in this huge pot.
Come on.
Just, wow, what an incredible read by Salas.
Come on, Damian. Come on.
Such a risky call. It's such a huge hit to his stack if he's wrong, and he still makes the call. It's just incredible.
Cutting down Bruno to around 5 million. Yeah, he's been getting the cards, but they didn't dictate that river call. Salas's stack is large and in charge of this final table. Razvadov, Czech Republic, is a long way from Vegas. How far? Well, as the crow flies, about 5,700 miles, only slightly longer than the trip from the top floor of the Masquerade Tower of the Rio to the Amazon Ballroom. Vegas and Razvadov hosting the two final tables that will lead to a heads-up match for this year's bracelet.
The copy here says I'm supposed to make an ex-wife joke. Was that meant for me?
Oh, no, that's old. I'm sorry. Yeah, we miss you, Norman. A raise from Mikkel with ace-5 of hearts, met with a call from Marco Strata in the big blind with pocket sevens.
Yeah, Mikkel could have considered just shoving this all in pre-flop with about 14 big blinds.
But he does not. We saw the two big stacks do battle a moment ago, now the two short stacks. Here is the flop. 10 ace tray, all clubs, pair of aces for Ramon, flush draw for Marco. Marco with the check.
Yeah, and ace-high monotone boards can really just see bet a very small sizing.
400,000. Straight now with his pocket sevens. He's not going to be pushed off it too easily, is he?
No, he's got that important club in his hand, so he thinks, you know, even if I'm against an ace here, I have a little bit of life.
All right, his call builds the pot to almost 2.3 million. Turn card. 8 of hearts. Ramon keeps his lead. Another check from Strata.
And Mikkel has about the same amount in his stack as there is in the pot, so he has to decide whether he wants to get it in here or check back, and he does elect to check.
All right, river card, jack of spades. So Mikkel has the best of it. And now Strata, maybe based on Ramon's turn check, cutting out some chips.
Yeah, Strata has figured out here when Mikkel checks back that Strata's sevens are unlikely to be good. Decides to turn it into a bluff.
900,000. So many possibilities on that board that Mikkel is considering.
Tough decision for Mikkel. It's 900K, but that represents a large portion of his stack.
And a key hand to the chances of both. And there is the call. And with those aces, Ramon Mikkel will take that pot.
Thank you.
Spain's Ramon Mikkel with a well-timed turn check, a move that might have made his fellow countryman Carlos Mortensen proud.
To be honest, I didn't know about him until a couple of years ago. I've only been playing for 5-6 years, and he won the main event, I think, in 2001. So no, I didn't start playing. I didn't know him when I started playing, but he's a legend of Spanish poker, so it would be an honor to win the main event and share that trophy with him.
And this is how you get two commentators on your side. Passion for fostering and rescuing animals. I have a new favorite player, Lon.
Absolutely. All right. It has been folded to Manuel Ruivo on the button with pocket aces. Only 14 big blinds. Besting only straighter right now at this table. A min raise to 600,000. Straighter with ace-king in the small blind.
This is just so gross. Like, you're facing a button raise. You look down at ace-king in a small blind. You're going to be good almost all the time, but he's facing aces.
Straighter does shove. Mikel in the small blind folds. Ruivo, of course, snap calls with the aces. Ruivo has it. Straighter needs a minor poker miracle to survive.
Or he's going to be straight out of here.
Oh,
terrible.
Very nice. Is that why we brought her in? All right. Straighter already feels his fate in his bones. Here's the flop, looking for something, and all clubs making a bad situation worse.
0.0001.
Yeah, he's pretty much drawing dead to casino blackout.
All right, Straighter needs it now. Turn card. 7 of spades will end what little drama there was and ends the main event for Marco Straighter in 5th place. A payout of nearly $342,000. Well done. So the Swiss-born Liechtenstein resident heading for the door. Ruivo takes it. Straighter on to the next. One player didn't show, leaving 8 competing for one spot to get to Las Vegas. Half have been eliminated as we pick up the action four-handed.
Yeah, four-handed play is a little interesting with the big blind ante. There's a lot to play with in every pot. You're not standing 10 to 15% of it big. It's 25%.
Bruno started as the chip leader, but Damien Salas took care of that quickly. The lawyer turned part-time pro has a 2-to-1 edge on Botellon. Ruivo and Mikel with decent stacks at the moment. Salas in the small blind.
Limping the 10 deuce off, maybe a tribute to Doyle?
Yeah, why not? Damien gets Ruivo into the hand. And Damien, how good is he running? His 10 deuce is ahead right now. And he does flop a deuce, but Ruivo flops a 9 to take the lead. Salas with bottom pair does bet 400,000.
Ruivo with top pair and in position, just going to make the call.
Pot of 1.7 million. Turn card now. Oh my, how dirty is that? Salas scores another deuce.
Listen, Doyle Brunson was no fool. That was his favorite hand, and for good reason.
Exactly. Won the main event 2 years in a row with 10 deuce.
1,050,000.
He keeps betting. 1,050,000 here. I like it.
I don't think Ruivo can go anywhere just yet. He still has top pair. There's a draw-heavy board. You think your 9's probably good.
I think Ruivo, the like-minded call here. River card, Queen of Diamonds. An overcard to Ruivo's pair. We'll see if that saves him a little bit. Third diamond out there as well.
2 million.
2 million now from Damien.
Just over half pot and looking for some value here. Ruivo's holdings are interesting here. He doesn't have a diamond, so it's more likely Salas did make a flush. He also has a 6, which would block some of the straight draws that he's hoping Salas has.
Ruivo has already committed around 2 million to this pot. To call would be about a third of his stack remaining. He has had his time tonight, a tough time against Salas.
Oh.
And a crying call, and Ruivo will send his chips once again to Damian Salas.
It seems like Ruivo knew what was happening before he put those chips in.
An unbelievable turn card for Damian, but could you believe a Maryland poker room would name itself after Norman Chad?
Would like to officially welcome you to the grand opening of the Norman Chad Poker Room.
And the first time I ever dreamt of having a poker room named after me on the boulevard was in 1979 when I was failing out of the University of Maryland American Studies program. But now, I was just a kid with a dream then, and a 1.7 GPA, and now my dream has come true.
A 1.7? I bet he rounded up.
Good for you. All right, back to action inside King's Casino. Razvedov, Czech Republic. Chip leader Damian Salas trying to make his way back to Las Vegas and win that bracelet that he came so close to in 2017. 9 tray, suited in the small blind, a raise to 850, and his whipping boy Ruivo in the big blind with 9-8.
Salas is mixing up his play a little bit. He just limped the 10 deuce off from the small, and now he elects to raise the 9-3 suited.
So there's a call from Ruivo. $2 million in the pot. 9 high, blind versus blind battle. And there is a 9 in the flop. Jamie, this could get fun.
Yeah, finally Ruivo's getting the best of him.
Damian way behind with his kicker. He checks it. And a check back. And yikes, the case 9 on the turn, and Ruivo's 8 would play. Salas now reaching. 425.
Oh, he goes for a very small bet on such a wet board. There's a lot of straight draws and now 2 flush draws. Ruivo has an interesting decision here. Salas should be leading the turn with bluffs after the flop goes check-check. So he may want to give Salas the chance to bluff off the river as well.
Ruivo just puts out a call. Pot of almost 2.9 million. The river card. Oh, would you look at that?
Unbelievable.
Welcome to the world Salas of poker. Damian Rivers a boat.
Oh my God. And how many times is Ruivo going to have to be in this spot in one day?
Salas now checks it over to Manuel. And he's putting some of his future former chips into play here. 1 million.
And Salas is setting up a big check raise. Let's see what sizing he goes for.
Damian Salas in the catbird seat here says raise. Damian makes it 2,550,000. A menacingly small check raise on the end.
And if Ruivo can make a good fold here, he actually saved himself some chips. I think if Salas just let out 1.8 million, it gets called, don't you think?
Once burned, twice shy. He does manage to fold. Wow, Salas pumps up his already prodigious chip lead at this international final table. What a performance we're witnessing. Back to Razvedov. This 8-handed final table has been fun, but it's hard to watch anyone else but Argentina's Damian Salas.
Estaba en un gran nivel y hoy me siento de la misma manera.
Salas nearing 60 big blinds. Boteon, Mikel, Ruivo all in need of double ups and more.
Oh yeah, the more they care about laddering up, the better it's going to be for Salas to close this one out.
We saw Ruivo and Salas both with 2 knockouts so far. We pick up this hand with an all-in and call. Short stack, Ramon Mikel at risk with ace-6. Boteon, former chip leader, trying to score the knockout with pocket trays. Mikel only offering 2 bigs here with his all-in.
Yeah, after that nice river call versus Strata, he really hadn't had much to work with.
He does have 2 overs to the pocket threes of Bruno. And here we go. And a 3 in the window. A crushing set for Bruno to all but send Ramon to the exit. And for Mikel, the writing, yes, is on the wall. Turn card, another king, and that's it. Botean scores the full house, the pot, and the knockout of Ramon Mikel. 4th place, worth nearly 499 grand. A nice run for him. Little live consolation there. More to come of another kind when he finds the payout cage. Down to 3-handed now. Online play started this action on GG Poker with 674 entrants. Brought us to the live play, and Rozvadov, one of the 3 remaining players, goes to Vegas for a shot at the bracelet and a $1 million free roll. Ruivo has folded. Small blind, Botean, Jack 7 suited. He calls for 200,000. Salas with Queen 8, also suited in diamonds. And he checks his option. Botean dominated against Salas. Not a great way to start against the guy who's running red hot tonight. 9, Trey, 6. Salas keeps his lead on the 9-high rainbow flop.
Both players with a similar hand. Nothing at present, but with some backdoors and some potential.
Bruno, that's 400,000, hoping to end the hand. Damien says, not so fast. Turn card, 10 of clubs, keeps Damien ahead. Neither has paired up. Both do pick up gut shots. Immediately, Bruno reaching for chips. That's 1.1 million.
Yeah, Salas's hand is pretty interesting. He's a double gutter and an overcard. And he's getting about 3 to 1. With position, I feel like this is a pretty good call.
And there is the call, swelling the pot to 4.2 million between the 2 big stacks here. River card is a queen. Salas hits top pair on the end.
And Botean now just staring at a 4.2 million chip pot with only Jack high.
All in.
And he says all in.
Yeah, with basically the same stack size as pot size and just Jack high, this is a no guts, no glory kind of spot. I like Botean's hand selection as well, with the Jack and the 7 in his hand blocking the 2 available straights. It's less likely that Salas has a nutted type hand.
Salas has not had a hair out of place all night. If he can muster up a call of less than 20% of his chips, he'll be heads up. He is squirming uneasily in his chair, though.
Can't feel great as Botean. You've been snapped off in this spot before.
Damien folds.
5-7.
Bruno stealing that pot from the bank of Damien.
Make hunt.
Botean avoiding a 3rd place payout with a successful bluff.
Feel your heart. I had a big heart.
Yeah, if you check the hand ranking chart, it goes trips, big heart, pair.
All right, so we stay 3-handed. Botean folding. Salas in the small blind. 10-7 of clubs, just limps for 250,000. Revo, 9-4 off. Everyone seems to have a reason to have a vendetta against Salas at this table the way he's played. Ruivo showing his heart with a raise here to 1.5 million.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Ruivo's taking a hand with very little value and turning it into a bluff on such a short stack, too. He's only got about 17 big blinds.
Salas with his 10-7 suited. He'll come along for $1 million more. And Ruivo going, not again. 3.5 million in the middle. And here we go. And yes, Virginia, there is a 9 in most flops. Top 2 for Ruivo. Salas, 4 clubs to a flush. Release the hounds.
Just a bit confused about the 36% next to Salas's name. Shouldn't it be about 100?
Yeah, exactly. He does check it to Ruivo. And Ruivo puts out 750, less than a quarter of the pot.
Yeah, choosing a 1.5 big blind sizing here leaves Salas some room if he wants to check jam. He can assume he has some fold equity.
$5 million. 5 million.
Here comes the big stack.
5 million.
He's only got 6 million.
Is that my all-in? Almost. I'll go all-in. Let's go.
All in. Damien commits another million. Ruivo ahead right now, but Salas with a lot of outs.
This flop just kind of played itself. Nowhere either of these players could go.
Ruivo hoping to avoid disaster on the last 2 streets, trying to regain some footing right now.
That mask does protect against droplets.
Turn card. And Damien's open-ended now.
Could be worse. Could be better.
I love the gallows humor. He has to fade a club, a 6, and a jack if he wants to survive.
The river card is a club. Damien does it again. The river, the pot, the knockout. Manuel Ruivo, 3rd place. It wins $728,000. It's the heads-up match we thought we'd have. Triple B and Damien Salas. One goes to Vegas to try to win the bracelet.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that fight?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
We're ready for Heads Up. Lon McCarron here with Jamie Kerstetter. Salas with about 60% of the chips in play. $1.5 million to this winner, plus a shot at winning an extra $1 million in Vegas. This worldwide event has come down to 2 South Americans. Botean raises with 5 deuce of hearts, and with king Trey of diamonds, Salas comes along. An ace-high rainbow flop. Salas does hit his king, and he checks. Such a rich rivalry in soccer between Brazil and Argentina. They're bringing it here to Rosvadov. 2.1 million, a continuation bluff from Bruno.
And a very large sizing.
Salas with 2nd pair. He'll come along again. The winner with a chance to become a world champion by winning a heads-up match in Las Vegas. Botean now pairs up but is still behind. Another check from Argentina.
Weird spot for Botean having now turned a pair after inflating this pot so big.
Brazil checks back. River card. Trey of hearts. Kings up for Salas. He is one tough player to beat tonight. Salas with just 1.4 million.
Such a small value bet. It's like he's targeting Botean's exact hand. And Botean now with the decision, he's getting laid a very, very good price here, but with just 4th pair, you can't expect to be good here very often.
Yeah, it's not bottom pair, but a lot like it. And he does make the call. He's had all night to learn that Salas always has it, and the delta between these two grows. Bruno now must overcome a more than 2.5 to 1 chip lead.
Salas has been really hard to play against tonight with his selective aggression and just putting his opponents in some really strange spots.
From hand number 1, Damian Salas has been the player to beat, even though this man, Bruno Bothan, came in as a dominant chip leader. Salas, King 8 offsuit. Almost 28 million chips in his stack, just over 10 million for Bruno. And he'll just call for 300,000 more. Bruno, suited, 7 tray, and he'll check his option. Bothan has switched to the see-through mask. Maybe he's got a really good poker face heads up. Here we go to the flop, and newsflash, top pair for Damian Salas. Check from Bruno. Looking for the free card. And Damian gives it to him.
Oh, wow. Unconventional check back with top pair, especially with the flush draw on board.
Well, Bruno just perked up. He now has flush and straight draws. Another check.
Salas's flop check may get him paid on these later streets, especially with such an awesome turn card for Bothan's hand.
2 purple chips, that's $1 million. He's thinking something. Bothan putting something nefarious together. He's got super draws here. And there is a check raise to 2.8 million.
I like this decision a lot. Salas checking back the flop. There shouldn't be that many kings in his range. So you may as well play aggressively with this semi-bluff.
But can he shake Damian Salas? Doubtful. And there is the call. As this pot grows dangerously big for Bruno Bothan. River card now. Again, Damian Rivers kings up, and a third club does pop up.
Mullen.
Bothan shoves.
Yeah, Bothan's turn check raise was not intending to just hit his hand. He's not trying to hit a heart. He's not trying to hit a straight. He's going to represent the club as well, and very gutsy play.
He did this three-handed, and it worked. If Damian can find a call, he's got a plane ticket to Las Vegas. Salas does call.
You call? Show it up.
Show it, boys. Damian Salas is one step closer to his dream of winning the main event.
Bro, you are so young, man. Huh?
Yeah, congratulations, man. You deserve it.
Win once again. You are very, very, very good.
Thank you very much. I hope I win one day. But congratulations. Good luck in Vegas.
Thank you, sir.
This final table belonged to Damian Salas, and now a chance to return to Vegas and soothe the sting of his 2017 knockout.
Salas knocked out 4 players at this final table. He only needs to get through one more for the bracelet and $1 million.
He's made it no secret that this has been his dream. As a poker player to win the main event, he's had one shot, and now he has earned another opportunity. Quite the family man with the homemade World Series of Poker bracelet by his daughter, Damian Salas, enveloped in emotion right now. It was a virtuoso performance from someone who'd been here before. While it's hard to call 7th place in 2017 disappointing, Damian Salas used that experience to dominate tonight's final table. His reward, a flight to Vegas to play for the bracelet that eluded him 3 years ago. The Razvadov 8 and the Las Vegas 8 formed a heads-up match for 1 gold bracelet and $1 million. Tonight, Louisiana's Joseph Hebert and Argentina's Damian Salas play for stacks and for history. A champion will leave the Rio headed down south or to South America.
Que no juego por el dinero.
I'm just ready to get it on and just play this game.
Battle on, battle on.
The World Series of Poker main event crowns its champion next. From online to live to heads up, Damian Salas and Joseph Hebert one-on-one for the World Series of Poker main event bracelet and $1 million. Hi everybody, Lon McCarron along with Jamie Kerstetter, Jeff Platt reporting from the sideline. One of the most iconic symbols in all of sports, the championship bracelet awaiting tonight's winner. Damian Salas finished 7th in 2017. He's back to finish what he couldn't complete 3 years ago.
Getting close in 2017 must have lit that fire because he wants it more than ever. You could just read the emotions on his face.
Joseph Hebert, well, he's a part-time waiter, part-time poker pro who dominated his domestic final table.
Yeah, and he's the people's champ. He's likable, emotional, playing for his mother, and it's a breath of fresh air to see both these guys just wear their hearts on their sleeve.
Nothing ordinary about this year's main event. 2 online events, 2 final tables, 1 in Vegas, 1 in the Czech Republic. So let's get this little 2-player sit and go underway. Only $1 million, the main event bracelet, and the title, World Champion at stake. Each player will start with $500,000 chips. That's 500 big blinds right now.
Good luck, Damien.
Hebert, 38 years old, almost 700,000 in live winnings before this World Series of Poker. Salas, 45 years old, with 2 million more in winnings than Joseph. Hebert on the button, Jack 6 off. He just calls for 500. The blinds at 500 and 1,000. Salas with the raise with the weak ace. Hebert's not going to fold, and hand number 1, no way. He does call. We've got a pot right out of the gate. And we'll see a flop. All spades, Hebert with the middle pair. Flush draw for Salas. Yes, it was the ace of spades. Damian, gonna bet the draw. 3,500.
Yeah, with the nut flush draw, I like just starting to build a pot right now. And also, you're making the pot size large enough where you can push your opponent off on later streets.
Hebert makes the call. Turn card now. 5 of hearts. That does pair Damian, but he's still behind and still just 4 to a flush. He's behind, but he's going to keep betting. He loves to pound on the throttle. 9,000.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? This is what got him here in the first place, just barreling through multiple streets, getting his opponents to fold when he's just on a draw.
And it does work. Aggression gets the pot. Hand number 1 to Argentina. Well, Joseph Hebert knows he has a tough opponent tonight, someone with valuable final table experience. Here's Jeff Platt.
Damian Salas is certainly used to the World Series of Poker main event spotlight. Back in 2017, he finished in 7th place for more than $1.4 million. And throughout that final table, he had that Argentinian flag draped behind him. Well, not much has changed. Salas has that flag here with him today. Representing Argentina is very important to him, but it's bigger than that. He tells me he sees this opportunity as a chance to represent the entire Latin American community. So he draws plenty of inspiration from the flag and from his family. He and his wife Silvana have 3 kids, and Salas says he feels their energy every single time he sits down at a poker table. And as much as he enjoys competing at that table, says he's not really planning on turning pro really anytime. He enjoys his job as a lawyer in Argentina, and most of all, he enjoys being a dad.
Enjoys his job as a lawyer. Are we just to assume that there's something lost in translation?
Uno cerveza, amigo? Uno cerveza?
No for the moment. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Not a real sport if you can actually drink and play at the same time, right? There's poker, bowling, softball, and cornhole, I think, are the only things.
Level 4, right?
You just upset a lot of bowlers that watch this.
Ah,
Yeah,
probably.
A raise from Salas. Now A-Bear. Ooh, with pocket aces.
Raise to 8,000.
There's the 3-bet to 8,000. Oh, he comes along for 5K more, does Damien? The aces hold, but Damien's low ball strategy has hope. Picking up a gut shot.
And that club looks pretty nice for some backdoor potential.
A-Bear has the action. 5,500. When you hear Damien talk about poker, you hear his intensity, but when he talks about family, you really feel his passion. This is a man with his priorities in proper order. He does make the call. Another 10 on the turn.
Not your favorite card if you're a bear with your aces there, knowing that when Salas continues that he will have some 10s in his range.
A-Bear check now is a 10-1 favorite. And Salas comes out firing. Hefty sizing, 3/4 plus pot bet.
Yeah, one of Salas's strengths is definitely putting pressure on his opponent and making pots uncomfortably large for them. A-Bear's check on the turn, though. He's not trying to fold this hand right now. He is trying to control the size of the pot after an unfavorable turn card.
A-Bear with aces up now. Orange chips worth 5K each, and there's a call of 21,000. They'll see a river card, 69,000 in the middle. Jack of hearts, it's official. A-Bear's aces win a showdown, but this game is less about showdown than skill. He does check the third heart on the paired board. And Salas putting a lot of different colored chips together. 78,000, wow, over betting the pot.
I love this decision. Any size bet under pot likely gets called here. With the backdoor flush coming in, though, 78K, a bet over pot, really should get this done. A-Bear can't be loving his aces anymore.
A pause to refresh. I don't think he likes any decision that he has here. And A-Bear does fold. Salas finding ways to win pots that he shouldn't. So critical to this game. Another great start for Damien Salas. He hasn't made a hand, but just keeps winning. If you ever needed proof that poker is a game of skill, rewatch those last two hands. Damien Salas gets Joseph A-Bear to fold the best hand twice. A-Bear has won back a few chips, but Salas remains in the lead. He gets to do it with his family very close by. His daughter even made him a homemade version of the main event bracelet as a reminder of what his job is right now.
Bueno, tengo una parte de mi familia acá, que es mi amada señora Silvana, y un hermano de 4. Y mi mejor amigo de la vida con su señora, que somos grandes amigos. Pero tengo una banda increíble allá en mi Chascomús querido, en Argentina, que están todos apoyándome y de los cuales siento realmente que están conmigo acá y que me transmiten una gran energía para estar súper tranquilo y dar lo mejor de mí. Y así lo siento. Imagínate que aquí me falta el tesoro más grande que tengo, que son mis 3 hijos, Santi, Sol y Fran, pero están conmigo.
He does hold his family in his heart wherever he is. A-Bear limp with King 10 of diamonds. Salas with Jack 9 announces raise, daring Joseph to play those bigger pots, Jamie.
Yeah, surprising limp with such a good hand on the button, but maybe for deception? And then Jack 9 off is a little light to be putting 13K there, but perhaps he has some plans we don't know about.
Damian always plans on flopping top pair, which he does. Joseph with a flush draw. Salas, no c-bet.
He does tend to change gears. There's a few times leading up to this heads-up match where he checked top pair.
And an ace-high flush for A-Bear. Salas adds a useless flush draw. Salas reaching for chips, drawing dead. 8,000 now. Kind of a non-committal 8,000.
Yeah, a very small turn stab here. The diamond should be a better card for him as he played it more passively on the flop, but as we see, that is not the case.
A-Bear with the raise to 29,000. Salas never one to shy away from a big pot, as you can tell by his shirt. And he does make the call, a non-believer, I guess.
Back to that shirt. Exactly where does that camouflage you?
8 of clubs on the end. Luckily for Damian, he does not improve, and he checks again. Quickly, Joseph with the flush. That's 106,000. He now overbetting the pot. Invitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, I do like this 1.2x pot sizing. We see here that the jack is not going to be able to withstand a bet this size, but I do think there are a lot of strong hands in Salas's range that could call this bet.
I come, sir. Thank you.
Well, A-Bear had it and still got the aggressive Salas to build a pretty nice size pot. A-Bear hoping to win this for his recently passed mom, Linda, but he's got other plans as well.
My father has had a Mustang LX92 convertible on the fridge as his retirement dream for the last 25 years. And I want to be able to, I'm now in the position I can buy him his car. And I'm so excited because my mom would probably be yelling at me and saying, don't spend your money on that, don't spend your money on that, because she always gave my dad a hard time. But he deserves it. He's been in my corner ever since I was little, and he means the world to me as well.
A-Bear making a strong case for having children.
Yeah, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he wins. When he goes home, there's actually a picture of one of the new Shelby Mustangs on the fridge. A-Bear limps with 6-4 off. Salas with ace-jack offsuit. And he's going to raise it up to 13,000. A-Bear showing he's not going anywhere quickly. A 3-bet to 42,000.
Gonna be honest, I didn't see that coming from A-Bear. He's played small pots, he's played kind of passively and was kind of letting poker come to him, but this is a pretty crazy play with 6 high.
Raise.
And Salas announces a raise, shades of hand number 1 in Razvedov, when Ruivo played back at Salas while he was holding ace-queen, and now a 4-bet to 106,000.
106,000.
And Joseph can't play 6-4 quite like Damian.
I mean, this hand from start to finish is absolutely crazy. And I'm wondering, too, if A-Bear found a 5-bet, is ace-jack just hitting the muck?
The man's got poker courage, and it brought him a lot of success in 2017.
I'm all in.
That's all. And I'll give you the chance.
That's one.
Sorry?
That's one.
Segura! Segura! Only a 4 or a 5 knocks out Damian Salas.
No, Segura! The 5 knocks out Salas.
Wow, look at what final tables used to look like. I never thought I'd miss having beer spilled all over me from the person behind me.
All right, back to action. Bear raised with 9-8 of hearts. Salas calls with ace-10 of diamonds.
Just a call. I'm wondering what his 3-betting range is going to look like if this doesn't fall into it.
And top pair for Salas. Flush draw for Bear. Salas checks. A win here moves Damian much closer to Argentinian's all-time money earner Ivan Luca. 8,000 with the draw from Bear. Salas, with about 100,000 chip lead entering this hand, makes the call. Turn card, deuce of diamonds. No change to the relative strength of the hands. Another check from Damian.
I think when you find yourself with 9 high here, you're going to have to try to bet and win this hand. And be prepared as well. If you find yourself with 9 high unimproved in the river, it might be time to fire a massive barrel.
That is almost half the pot, 22,000. Still with the best of it. Damian puts in 4 orange and 2 yellow. That's a 22,000 chip call. 10 of hearts, but everything changes. Joseph scores the flush on the end.
And little does he know it's the most amazing flush card he could hit, because Salas is pretty happy with his hand now. Happy enough to fire out a bet himself.
38,000 with aces up. Joseph with a quick call.
I'm surprised at the snap call. I thought he'd at least consider raising. I also would like him to take a little more time and just look at Salas and look how he is when he's value betting.
Bear cautiously collecting pots, maybe not getting full value at all times, but this pace works for him. Chip, chip, chip away. Now at his full final table, he was involved in just over half the hands. No huge swings either way, so slow and steady as she goes for Joseph Bear. And once again, Joseph has the lead in this race for the bracelet, the $1 million, and the title. King 4 of diamonds. Going to raise it up to 20,000. The blind's at 4 and 8,000 now. Jack 6 suited for Damian. And he makes the call. He's going to call with suited drink coasters there, I think.
Which he pretty much has right now.
Joseph Bear coming up big with trip kings. Salas checks. No slow play from Bear. 10,000.
I like this sizing, and I think that he should probably go this size with his entire range here.
But look at this. A check raise from Salas. His aggression is going to get the best of him here. A raise to 28,000.
Salas's hand has so little value here that I kind of like this. You know, if you think that Bear is going to be betting a lot of his range, very small there, this will get the job done a good amount of the time, but I'm a little concerned he may continue barreling through this hand.
5 of diamonds, and now Joseph adds a flush draw and has Damian drawing dead. I was curious how Salas was going to handle this turn after the check raise on the flop. And it looks like he wants to put more chips to work. Yeah, 52,000. Bluff gone wild 2.0.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about this, not just because we see what kind of trouble he's in, but because he didn't pick up any equity. You see pros barrel through hands when they pick up something on the turn, but, you know, he's in rough shape.
Just a call from Bear, of course. So 7 of clubs. And where can Damian go from here?
I really think Damian should shut down here. The only thing I could see him folding out is Jack 10, and he has a Jack, making it so unlikely that Bear holds that.
Damian and shut down don't often go into the same sentence. Another big bet, 139,000. Rubs his hands together like, yeah, I got this. And there is the call, and with that, Joseph Bear has built quite a lead on Damian Salas.
3-1 in just one hand.
Maybe that was the plan all along. Joseph would lose the small pots and then win the big ones.
Thank you.
If only we could all plan that way.
It wasn't easy. It would mean the world to me to win this for Mom. It's something I've always dreamed of, that she's dreamed of for me as well. And for me to win this for her would just catapult me to just, total emotions, so I'm lost for words actually.
Para mí ganar el brazalete es cumplir mi sueño, por el cual trabajé con ahínco durante mucho tiempo. Y es eso, tan sencillo y tan grande como es, cumplir mi gran sueño en lo que se refiere a mi profesión.
2020 started strong for Joseph before his mom passed in July. Late in the year, he was back on top of his game and a chance now for this championship. He has King 5 offsuit, and with a 9-1 chip lead, he says, let's go, Damien. Damien with the ace makes the call all in.
And just like that, Bear with a 39% chance of being the new world champ.
And that painful 2017 River card still fresh in Damien's mind. His poker redemption riding on the outcome of this hand, putting all his chips at risk. The emotion for Joseph welling up, being so close to fulfilling his hashtag for Linda wish. And here is the flop. And an ace for Salas all but ends it.
Battle on, battle on.
Bear sits down needing runner.
Deuce.
6 of clubs is a blank, and the first all-in and call gives a double up to Damien Salas.
And both these guys are online players. They're used to this. You know, you whittle your opponent down. Bear thinks they have a 39% chance of winning, and now it's back to the drawing board. His opponent's back in with a 200K stack.
Never count Damien Salas out.
Easy hand.
Okay, so we're going to admit we stretched a little on this one. Damien, though, was worth being part of the conversation. Now, he's not Messi or Maradona or Ginobili, but his accomplishments of 2 main event final tables in 4 years, almost unprecedented.
I think he's going to like this graphic.
Yeah, no doubt. That'll be on a billboard somewhere in Buenos Aires. All right, so fresh from the double up. Bear, King 9 of diamonds, raises enough again to put Salas all in with pocket 10s. He's going to make that call. And once again, Salas will be at risk. He's ahead again, but with a strong pocket pair.
And once again, Bear has a chance to become the world champion, 32% to be exact.
Now Joseph with 1 overcard and 2 diamonds.
King in the window. King in the window. I feel it already.
10 diamonds.
And here you're witnessing the international language, which is begging the dealer for cards.
2 heart.
No king, no diamonds.
Come on, king.
Bear can only beg for a king now. Salas in line for another double up. Even closer now after that 7 of clubs falls.
King in the river. King.
The river, another 7. Salas survives another all in. Joseph's 9-1 chip lead is now less than 3-1.
Okay.
Sure, he's disappointed that he didn't pull it out right there, but 3-1 to win the main sounds pretty good.
And a little begging on the end came up empty. Joseph Bear and Damien Salas will go back to work. Now you saw with that overhead shot, you can't help but see the $1 million that will go to the winner, yet neither has claimed it to be job number 1. For Damien, it's to fulfill his poker comeback dream. For Joseph, it's all about doing it. Hashtag for Linda. Queen 5 for Bear.
Raised to 41,000.
And a raise to 41,000. Now he's the one pressuring the other to play bigger pots. Jack 9 suited for Salas.
I like that A-Bear is finding a raise against the 15 big
41,
blind
right?
stack instead of just jamming all
Put
in.
42. Yeah.
Salas makes the call. 21,000 more. 10, 5, 10. A-Bear pairs his 5. Salas comes up empty.
I don't know about empty. He's got 60% of a straight flush, Lon.
60%, yes. Check from Salas now, initiating a bet of 20,000 from Joseph.
I think I was joking about the 60% straight flush needing to continue, but with the bet size that small, I would call the 20K.
Yep, and 4 orange chips is a call. A-Bear improves to queens up. Queen also brought a 3rd heart to the board and an open ender for Salas. Once again, Damien trying to get a free card, and he'll get it. On the end, 6 of clubs. No help to Salas.
With just jack high, I expect him to try to stab at this and take it down.
He does tend to do that.
Yep.
Everyone expects it now. 55,000.
And a call.
And a call from Joseph, and his 2 pair will win him the pot just as Salas was beginning to feel some mojo coming his way. As mentioned, 1 million chips are in play. Joseph A-Bear now holds 800,000 of them.
Yeah, leaving Salas with just 10 big blinds. This is the 3rd time that A-Bear has whittled Salas down to almost nothing.
We can, and we do, debate the merits of social media all day long, but in moments like these, it can be great. So much support for Joseph A-Bear, particularly because no crowds allowed at the Rio. The virtual rail is all we've got.
Yeah, and that's not the only difference. From the player's perspective, in recent years, they were getting confirmation if they've been bluffed or if they made a good laydown within about a half an hour or so delay. This one, they're playing in real time. They're not getting any information.
Old school poker. I love it. Salas with a suited king. 4-1 chip disadvantage.
Ten big blinds, suited king. Let him rip.
Here it is.
Feel it. Come on, I feel this one.
And it's A-Bear with the ace-deuce now. Salas used ace-deuce for his first double up. A-Bear gives it up. Damien thinking, thank you, I would have called.
Yeah, and passing up this spot that's so likely to be profitable, you may not find a better spot than this in the whole tournament.
Kind of the way Joseph has played the whole way, a risk-adverse A-Bear. Didn't want to give up the double-up pre-flop with the weakest of aces. We'll never know about the run-out, but that might be a fold that Joseph A-Bear regrets for a long time. To get heads up, Salas and A-Bear won their respective final tables.
I won. Yep.
A-Bear went wire to wire, dominating at every turn. Salas played flawless poker in the Czech Republic, making hands at the right time and bluffing when his opponents couldn't call. For the first time, the main event was played on international soil, both online and live, and now Argentina's Damien Salas in contention for the bracelet. Johnny Chan was the first foreign-born player to win the main event, and the second. So here we go, back to action. A-Bear leading the way still. A-Bear raised to 60,000, and with Queen 10 off, Salas calls for 30,000 more with the shorter stack. Here's the flop. Pair of 10s for Damien to allow him to take the lead. Middle pair, and he checks.
And we're seeing here where most players would have just shoved the ace-4 in pre-flop with these stack sizes. It is tricky to play post-flop. You're not getting a lot of favorable flops, and Now he's committing more chips where he would have just taken it down pre.
Behind with ace high, Abear bet 30,000. Salas with an orange and a green, that equals 30,000. Board gets a little straighter with the jack, and indeed both do pick up straight draws. Salas open-ended. Checks to Abear, who has a Broadway draw.
Yeah, this board is getting pretty ugly. I think this is where you cut your losses and just hope to get to showdown. He
There
agrees.
is the check, yeah. River card is an ace, and Broadway comes through for Damien on the river as Abear catches top pair.
Salas with an interesting decision here. He can either check to induce a bluff or hope that Abear's turn check back means he's got a piece of this and he can make a value bet himself.
It does go check, check. Salas will take that pot and inch ever closer to Joseph Abear. Salas made noise in 2017 by not making any noise. He became the poster boy for slow play. And he might be a little better, but still very, very deliberative. And you see the wide shot there. What a difference a year makes, missing the fever pitch noise and chants and the well-oiled faces of the poker pros and their gang in the background, as you mentioned earlier.
I really miss the songs, too. The songs people would just make up. Remember when Barney Boatman won his bracelet and they were saying, walking in a Barney Wonderland? We have no idea what it means.
Queen, deuce of spades. Abear limps for 15,000. King 10 of spades for Salas.
I haven't drank out of any shoes this year either.
I remember that. I think Maria Ho started that tradition, didn't she?
Yep.
Oh, no raise from Salas, so they'll see a cheap flop.
King 10 suited would be a very profitable shove there.
Damien still ahead with his king and as a gut shot. Checks his draw. Abear, 30,000. That's the beauty of heads up too. It just forces you to play. It takes you out of your comfort zone and you really learn who you are as a player.
Oh, it really punishes the nits too. If you're someone who's not used to playing some dusty holdings, you're going to have a very hard time adjusting heads up.
30,000 to call. 30,000 is the call. Turn card now. And the queen brings the straight to Damien while Joseph pairs up and, as you see, is now drawing dead. Salas checks again, hoping Joseph will put chips into the pot here.
Check.
Nope.
Second pair, no kicker. He's so happy to check back.
6 of clubs. Damien has to do his own bidding now, hoping Joseph has something. And that is 80,000 and a quick call. A cautiously played hand as these two thrust and parry in their quest to win the main event. Salas is back in the lead. In heads-up play, you're never really out of it. Damien was down 9-1 in chips. Now he's ahead, though Abear is certainly capable of running it back himself. So 18 big blinds for Salas, 6 for Abear. Abear with an ace. And now he wants to get it all in. Salas looks down at king, queen off.
It's good enough for me. How about you?
Absolutely.
260.
You know that Abear is shoving worse kings and queens with a short stack.
220 to call the all-in. And it's coming. So here we go. The first time Joseph has been at risk, and he's ahead with ace high. Salas is going to have to get a little lucky to knock out Hebert, but he does have a chance, Damian Salas does, to win the main event right here.
Battle on, battle on.
That's his only wish. He says, I want my ace high to hold. I want to be able to live to see another day.
And here we go, the all-important flop. And Hebert finds an ace and can breathe easier.
You can tell the weathered poker pros by the non-celebration. We've all seen it. We've seen runner, runner. You don't feel good until the hand's over.
Another 5 locks up the hand to stave off elimination. And once again, the shorter stack lives on. Two determined, talented players finding ways to keep their hopes alive with the ultimate prize on the line. No one yet has been able to put the finishing touches on this heads-up match. In 2016, it was Qui Win. In 2017, New Jersey's Scott Blumstein. 1 year later, John Sen won main event gold. Last year, 55-year-old Hossein Ensan played incredible poker to win the main event bracelet. Lon McCarron here with Jamie Kerstetter and Jeff Platt. Hebert and Salas look to win the latest edition of the bracelet and $1 million. Hebert, king, queen, offsuit, shorter stack, all in. Salas now looks down at king, jack suited.
Yeah, this is more than enough of a hand for me to call with. He's going to find out he's in rough shape.
Damian does nothing with alacrity. He's going to think about this one. A call and a win means he is the world champ. He wants a count.
380.
380.
I call.
Salas makes the call. And yeah, he's not happy. Hebert at risk, but ahead.
And if Hebert can hold on here, he's going to be the one with a 3-1 lead.
The ever-increasing blinds playing a much bigger role now. Hebert at risk. An all-small flop. Salas misses. Joseph still good. Just one club in there for Damian. Hebert on the hook. Turn card, 7 of spades, harmless. Joseph just needs to fade one of the 3 jacks, and he's back in the chip lead, as you said, Jamie. Salas can still win it with a jack.
Looks like he's trying to will that jack on the river.
The river card is a 6, and that locks it up for Joseph Hebert, who is back in the lead.
He's 3-1 chip leader now, and he must be a little frustrated. This is 163 times more hands than he had to play to get the last one done.
Playing just one hand of heads up, Joseph Hebert made this heads up battle. Damian played a much longer battle in Rozvadov. As we continue now, Salas the shorter stack, ace-10 offsuit. And he says all in.
And man, these hand matchups.
Wow.
Both times nothing that the caller could really do. Ace-8 rates to be the best hand here. I'd be happy getting my chips in.
He does call.
And wow, this is the 4th time we've seen the all-in player get it in good. 3 times that they obviously held. Let's see if a 4th will happen.
Well, Joseph now 23% to win it here for Linda. Salas has him dominated. But if Hebert can get a good run out, he will hold the bracelet.
Like 8s. Like 8s.
Here's the flop. 5, 5, 6. Damian's still ahead, but the paired board creates some outs to chop the pot.
I sound like a broken record, but if Salas can hold here, he'll be the 3-1 favorite.
Hebert still looking to win the whole thing. An 8 right now would put him in the lead. But it's another 5 and a bunch more outs to chop. Good news for Joseph.
Yeah, any 5, any 6, any card over a 10, and we're going to see a chop.
The river card. Can A-Bear do it for Linda right here? The river is a blank, and it's Damian Salas again securing a full and healthy double up.
A little bit. Yeah.
The best hand holds up again.
That's because poker's always fair.
Exactly what I was thinking. A-Bear has done it before. He could do it again. Back to the Rio in a moment in this battle befitting the title.
Uno cerveza, amigo?
No for the moment. Thank you. I can't say.
Thank you. It wasn't easy.
Thank you, sir. Easy hand.
Quite a show these two have put on, despite the stakes, despite the language barrier, both rising to the moment. Each should be proud no matter the outcome. A-Bear with the best starting hand he's seen in a while, ace-queen. The shorter stack is all in for $390,000. Salas now looks down at King-Jack.
And once again, these hands just play themselves. More than enough for a hand to call with.
And he does make the call. Salas a gambler, but Joseph favored to double back now.
This is my mom's favorite hand, so.
My favorite is the king.
Yeah.
Joseph trying to win it for his late mom. Hashtag for Linda. Salas looking for redemption. A-Bear ahead right now as we go to the flop. And there is a king for Salas. Now just 2 clean streets away from the victory.
Spade, please.
A-Bear just hoping for a spade. He's not getting too greedy and asking for the ace.
5 of diamonds, no help to Joseph. And it now comes down to just 1 card.
If A-Bear wants his main event dreams to stay alive, he's going to need the Barry Greenstein, the ace on the river.
The river card, Salas on the cusp of victory. A-Bear looking for a miracle. It is another king, and the full house in this near empty house brings Damian Salas his world championship.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. It was fun. It was fun.
A heartbroken Joseph A-Bear did his best. His mom would be proud. For Damian Salas, he's going to leave the set and go find his family down the hallway here at the Rio.
Y dale pampa, dale, dale pampa. Y dale pampa, dale, dale pampa. Y dale pampa, dale, dale pampa. Y dale pampa, dale, dale pampa.
Mission accomplished.
I did say I was missing the songs.
Either player would have been a deserving champion, but the cards fell right for Argentina's Damian Salas, 7th in 2017, 1st in 2020. A bracelet and more than $2.5 million for him. And certainly no walk of shame for Joseph A-Bear. He played great. Let's get it down to Jeff Platt.
Well, Damian, congratulations. What does winning this bracelet mean to you?
Ese brazalete es el anhelo de mi vida. Es mi sueño, mi gran sueño como profesional y por el cual luché muchísimo, perseveré muchísimo y hoy se hizo realidad. Y por eso, más allá de cumplir mi sueño, quiero decir que estoy muy agradecido. Muy agradecido. No voy a decir a todo el mundo porque me voy a extender mucho, pero decir que estoy muy agradecido con todo y que me siento un enorme privilegiado de poder estar aquí y haber podido cumplir mi sueño. Un enorme privilegiado.
A gracious winner and worthy champion, the WSOP reestablishes itself as the most international of games. Vietnam, the US, Iran, and now Argentina.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020 World Series of Poker main event champion, Mr. Damian Salas.
This heads-up match had 2 heroes and no villains, 2 likable family guys, experienced players who comported themselves with class throughout.
Indeed. And let's be honest, Jamie, the main event was an experiment this time around. It wasn't perfect, but they found a way to make it work, and we certainly have a worthy world champion. In a year when nothing was normal, the World Series of Poker audibled and put together a format worthy of its storied history. Joseph Hebert from Louisiana, Damian Salas from Argentina came to battle for World Series gold in Las Vegas. When the final card was revealed, it was the part-time lawyer who prevailed. For Jamie Kerstetter and Jeff Platt, I'm Lon McCarron. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.